Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing great. Welcome to the end of term exam questions. This is the part 1 MCQ, that is multiple choice question part. You will be given 4 options and you just have to select the correct answer. In this question, we'll find the area between two curves using definite integrals. Before we begin the problems, let's look into the formula. The formula can be of two different versions. The general formula is considered along the x-axis, where the limits lie. And here you can see the upper function minus lower function. Limits are a to b. If you're using this, since this is in the electronic part, we are using the calculator method. You do not need to bother much about these functions. Only for some problems you need to know the graph. Otherwise, if you just find a and b, the intersecting points, the limits, that's enough. So let's solve this up. Here we have a simple problem. If problems like this comes, it is very, very straightforward. So you don't have to worry much on these. You have two equations. They both are parabolic. So it's something like this, and one is minus 1. Now we need to find the intersecting points. You do not need to know the diagrams as well. So all you need to know is intersection happens when both the equations are equated to each other. So imagine this is one graph and one more graph like this. Okay, and it's coming down. So when they intersect, both the equations are at equilibrium or equal. So here it's y is equal to y. So now in order to find the intersecting points here, just make them equal. So here this is going to be x squared minus 1, that's equals half x squared. Now we can use quadratic in a calculator, but we need to have it in quadratic form, that is standard form. Take this half x squared to one more side, it will be x squared minus half x squared minus 1 equals 0. And here, see, this is like 1x squared minus half x squared. So 1 minus half is half, positive half. X squared minus 1 is equal to 0. Now you can see this is in terms of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. The standard quadratic form. But we have b missing. So we have a, that is half, then x squared. Plus there's nothing in this. So it's 0. b is 0x. Plus it's minus 1, so I'll just write minus 1. So we can use directly the calculator and find the x values now. We are use mod phi and 3 for quadratics. So here you have your calculator. Mod phi is for equation, and you can see here there is simultaneous equations and then quadratic, then cubic. So I'll choose 3 for quadratic. The standard form was also given. You can see mod phi, the standard form is written here. It's half 1 divided by 2, or 0.5, and there's nothing in terms of x, and then we have minus 1. So the answer is root 2 and minus root 2. That's it, because it's a quadratic, only 2 solutions, isn't it? So now here there's an important thing you must do. You must write the smaller value first, negative root 2, then root 2, always in this ascending order, small then big. So here in the formula we have AB, first function minus second function dx. So how are you going to write this? It's going to be minus square root 2 square root 2, and over here the function, let me take it as x squared minus 1 minus half x squared. Now I'm not sure whether this is the right one. This is the upper function, this lower. It might be other way around as well, but doesn't matter. This answer will have a negative sign. That's it. So let's take our calculators. Whatever I type, you can see it over here, mode 1. Let's go back to mode 1. And can you see the symbol here just below alpha? That's the integral symbol. So I need to type the equations. X squared minus 1, close the bracket, minus half, that is 1 by 2, and x squared. And now close the bracket, dx. And what do we have here? Minus square root 2 divided by, for the upper limit, it's square root 2 itself. And the answer is negative 1.8857. Now we need to simplify these. But before that, why is this minus coming? Because I have chosen the equations wrongly. This is the upper function minus the lower function. In the exam, you don't need to do it again. But now for just to show you here, I'll just rearrange them. So I'll just delete this out. Let me Take that off and write that as the first equation here. Half, okay, now that was a bad idea. Then we close the bracket, it's half x squared. So here we go. Minus the next one, you can see the answer will be in positive terms. It's 1 point, see one of the answer over here is 1.8856. 4 decimal points are enough. Now, which is the correct one? 4 by 3 is 1.33. So we can easily eliminate that off. This is not the correct answer. So let's try the next one. 4 root 2 divided by 3. Is it correct? Yes. So option B is the correct answer. But I'll just do the other ones as well. Square root 2 by 3 is wrong. And lastly, we have 2 by 4, which is also not the correct answer. It's wrong. So option B is the correct answer. I hope this is clear. Calculated method. For simple problems, it's very, very straightforward. Now let's see another case. What if you have such problems? So here you need to again equate 5x by x squared plus 1 equals x. Now whenever you're solving equations in the denominator over here and all, don't just cancel this. No, don't do that. You need to have it in their original form as much as possible. You can multiply, but just don't cancel directly now. Because when you cancel it, you have to always consider x as 0 because you're cancelling from both the sides. So instead of that, I'll show you. Denominator, take it to the other side. Move to the other side. It'll be 5x is equal to x into x squared plus 1. Now when you multiply x, it'll be x cubed plus x. Left side is 5x. And now I'll move this 5x to the other side. So it'll be 0 equals x cubed plus x minus 5x. And the simplified one will be x cubed minus 4x is equal to 0. Now here you can remove x term common out, and then that will be x is equal to 0, and then simplify x squared minus 4 will be plus or minus 2. But instead of all that, I just use the calculator to give me the limits. Here let's go to mode phi and option 4 for cubic. So when we go over here, say remember x squared term is not that, this is 0 and the constant d is also 0. So option 4, it's 1 before x cubed, there's no x squared term, minus 4 for x, and there is no constant term, it's 0. The answer is 2, minus 2 and 0. The three answers are the smallest number, minus 2, 0 and then 2. So here we are having three limits. So it might be something like this, see? Because it's x, you know. So this might be the thing. You need to find this and this. There are two regions. So whenever you see there is only like this, if it's modulus, then it's a different thing. We'll study it later. But now whenever it's like this term, just x and there are two terms, we have to use the integral 2 times. Why? Because there are two different regions. We have to find this area plus this area. And remember, the equation varies. If this in the first one, this is up, in the next one, it's going to be down. So you don't need to bother which exactly is which. All you do is, I'm starting with 5x by x squared plus 1. Okay, I'm starting with this. And then I'm going to do that minus x. But over here, I'm going to do x minus 5x by x squared plus 1. This is it. You can't keep 5x by x squared plus 1. The same thing over here as well, because then it'll just nullify, it'll be 0. I mean, not 0, it depends, you know. From yeah, usually it'll be 0 because this area minus that area. So that's why what you need to do, if you have chosen 5x by x squared as the first equation in one of the term, one of the part, do that as the second in the next part. What about the limits? You start with the smallest limit, minus 2 to 0, and then 0 to 2. Remember, when you're adding the limits up and the second one down, limit must be equal. These are all the rules which we had studied before in integrals. So now we will just put this in the calculator. So here we go to integral, and then we have 5x divided by x squared plus 1, close the bracket, minus x here. And then what is it over here? It's minus 2 to 0. And then plus, you're adding it with, again, integral. So we will have to use x, because it's a single term, I'm not using brackets for x, But minus, when it's bigger one, it's better to put brackets. It's 5x by x squared plus 1, close the bracket. And then the limits are from 0 to positive 2. So what's the answer? Here we are getting minus. The reason is we have chosen it other way around. If you had taken x minus 5x by x squared plus 1, and then in the next term we had taken this, then you would have got the correct answer. See, it's basically, if you change the limit, I can show you. But anyways, it doesn't matter which is, it's plus or minus, but only take the value. 4.047 must be the correct answer. 4.0471, it'll be 72. Now what next? Over here, I will have to solve each of this option and see which is the correct one. So let me try this. Oh, we are very lucky it's the first answer. That's it. That's the correct one. But I'll show you the other ones are wrong. Let me just put in the second one. See, it doesn't match. Or let me try the other ones as well. Over here, it's -1 and 4. Natural logarithm over here as well, 4. So it's close, but it's not correct. Only the exact one is the correct answer. So over here, it's -2. That's also wrong. Only the first option was the correct one. That was 5 natural logarithm 5 minus 4, which gives us 4.04718 and so on. So that's how we solve these. When you have 4 options, it's a bit easier because you do not need to stick to the exact equation, upper and lower and everything. So you have some liberty to choose your own equations and solve. This is similar to what we have done already, so I'll just run through these. See here, all you need to do is find the limits. Over here, when you solve, you'll get -2 to 2. And then this is the upper equation, but you can choose any, this or this. Your answer will be the negative or positive, but just take the value of it. That'll be the answer. So anyway, this is the figure, but if you look closely, it'll be -2, 2, and you can directly find it in the calculator even without graphing. And even this, we just did this. We got the answer here. And this one is also pretty straightforward. Okay, now we can solve this because over here it's x cubed, right? Let me just solve this up. First thing, x cubed is equal to 3x plus 2. I'll take this to the other side. X cubed minus 3x plus minus 2, not plus, minus 2 will be equal to 0. Now what you need to do is put it in the calculator. It's mod 5 and 4 for cubic. It's 1. There is no x squared term. It's 0, -3 and -2. So here then we have got 2 and -1. That's it. See, look over here. There's a repeating root. That's why. So it's 2 values itself. You don't have to do 2 sections. It's just 2 and -1. So here the limits, let's go to mode 1. The limits over here, let me just write -1 to 2. And then you choose any one equation. I'm going to choose x cubed, whichever was the first. I'm just going to choose that. Minus 3x plus 2. Now here, if you had not written the bracket, what happens is only 3x becomes minus. Then this will be positive 2, which is wrong. If you multiply the minus, it's minus 3x minus 2. So brackets are very important. So it's minus 27 by 4. See, the answer is 27 by 4. Why did we get wrong? Because we have chosen this wrongly. So in fact, even over here in the graph, you can see the linear function is above. So up minus down. What is down? It's x cubed. So that's the correct answer. I hope this is clear. Pretty straightforward problems. Even this one can be solved by yourself. It's not that of a deal. You just have to equate it, find what's the correct, what are the limits, and then put it over here. So here we go. And now this one is a very interesting problem because we have modulus. Now whenever you see this modulus sign, that means it is an absolute value function, right? The x value is like this. You generally will have only x, because if it's other than that, it's getting way too complicated. Then the limits or something must be given, otherwise it's very hard to solve it. So here you have modulus x. It's minus and plus, but look at over here. What is this? It is exponential function. Can this exponential be negative? You can put any number, you can try this, put any number, the lowest number you'll get is 0. 0 and something else. So I don't know how it is, but it can be like this or it can be more than that, anything. So this is only from the 0, it's only from the right side, so you can ignore the left part. This is ignored, the left side of the graph, because we are only going to consider the domain to the right. Why? The intersection happens only at the right. The first function is having a domain from 0 or more, 0 to infinity. From 0 to infinity only, that's the domain. So in such case, both of them start at 0, so I know one of the intersection point is 0 for sure. But what is the other intersection point? If you try directly using calculator, you'll not get it. Let me show you. Now, what if I directly type this out? 4x multiplied by e to the power minus x squared, that is equal to x. Because I'm just taking positive x, modulus means it's minus and plus, both are there, but I'm not taking the left side, it's only the right side. Let me shift and solve, then equal to, see I'm getting 0. Yes, that is intersection point, but we know that. But we are not getting the other answer. So how do we know where else it'll intersect? So what you need to do is you need to solve it manually, because the calculator wouldn't give you the answer. It's 4x. Now, how can you write this in terms of positive power? Because negative power exponents are very complicated. I'll write it as 1 by e power x squared, that is equal to x. It's positive x. So here, remember, we are trying to solve this to get this down. But before that, you need to understand this is, see, if it is e to the power minus x, it is e to the power x. It's the same thing. Or if you have, say, e to the power 2, you can write it as 1 by e to the power minus 2. So whenever you take it to the numerator, the sign changes from plus to minus, but now I had minus, I wanted plus, so that's why I took it down and made it positive. Now what next? I'll take it to the other side. That'll be x into e to the power x squared and 4x. Now if I'm cancelling this, I should know x will be at 0, but you know, over here this x, there's no other way of simplifying. So what I'll do is take this to the other side, because I need to get this down. And now I'll use log on both the sides, but I have to have the exponential alone at one side. So I'll take it to the other side. It'll be 4x by x, that is equal to e to the power x squared. This cancels up. Let me write it out over here. It's going to be 4 equals e power x squared. Now what? How do you remove this? This comes down. Basically, you have to take ln on both the sides, right? I'm going to do this step now. Ln 4 is equal to, over here also, natural logarithm e to the power x squared. Now, this cancels off. That is equal to x squared. And you have ln 4. Now, take the square root on both the sides. So, the intersecting point of x is square root ln 4. That's natural logarithm 4. Now, here I have done all the detailed steps, but you can directly solve over here. You don't need to do this. You might know, just take ln over here. This will come down. E dissolves directly over here, and the square root would be the answer. So you can skip some steps and get it. So now the limit 0, yes, I knew, but what's the other limit? It goes until square root ln 4. Now what next? Here then, one of the function 4x e to the power minus x squared minus x only. Why? Because this is only the positive side I'm taking, dx. Now what do I do is, see, I think so x should have been first, but doesn't matter. We are just looking for the answer, and you can just choose the correct option there. So we'll type this out. It's 4x e to the power, that is shift e to the power x squared. I forgot the minus sign here. And you have to close the bracket, minus x, and it goes from 0 to square root of natural logarithm of 4. There we go. The answer is 0.806. And here, okay, this is the answer. So what we need to do is write this answer down. 0.8068. You do not need to, approximate to the nearest 1,000, 10,000. I'm just writing 4 digits. Not going to round it off or anything. Just written it. Now we need to solve all the four options. Now here in this case it is ln4, the correct answer itself, divided by 2. That must be equal over here. Yes, that is correct. So this is how we can easily solve it using calculator. Now when we are exponential on one side, we know, see, the graph will only have the domain of positive x values. Now okay, over here, this is another very useful example. Here we know the left side and the right side. This is the absolute value of x. And this graph, I'm not sure how it is. It might be some, okay, it's x squared plus 1. It's not a parabola. It's something like this or something like that. Okay, there's two important things. In such cases, when there is modulus, you will have two parts. See, now from here, whatever is this limit to 0, and from this to this, there's two different intervals. So we have to use integral twice, isn't it? We are using integral twice with the limit. But since it's modulus, don't change this up, down, down, up. No. Whichever you're chosen, like what you do is just choose this as the first term for both. The best way would be like this. Okay. Now, when you take this, I know the middle intersecting point will be 0. Why? Because it is modulus x. So here it will be 0 and up to 0. So this left side, right, will be minus of minus x. Why? Because when you see the left side, what is that part? Modulus means it is having plus and minus x, isn't it? It is valid for both. It can be either plus x, minus x, depending on it. So x, so it's basically x is equal to plus or minus x. That's what it is. So whatever is x over here. First one, when you take the left side, the negative limit, you have to take minus, and then over here it'll be minus x. So basically this becomes plus. But I don't know what are the limits. So how do I solve them? So you need to solve them like 2 times, but I'll show you now here. It'll be 2 by x squared plus 1. That is equal to, first time let me take minus x, consider its left side. Now it'll be 2 is equal to minus x times x squared plus 1. I multiply it, it'll be 2 is equal to minus x cubed minus x. And I can rewrite this. I'll take these two to the other side. It'll be x cubed plus x plus 2 is equal to 0. The same thing I have to solve again for plus x. Why? Because it's either left side or right side. And that is going to be, this is the now right side limit. It'll be 2 is equal to x, directly I'm going to multiply x times x squared is x cubed plus x squared, and I'm just going to leave this over here 0, take this 2 to the other side, it'll be x cubed plus x squared minus, sorry, it's not going to be x squared, it's only x minus 2. And now solve it up using mod phi 3. Sorry, not mod phi 3, it's cubic, mod phi 4, and you'll get the answer. So here mod phi 4, let me type in 1, 0, there's no x squared term, 1, and 2 plus 2 itself. So the answer is minus 1, and ignore the others, it's imaginary, it doesn't matter, but minus 1 is the point here. So I'm just going to write the limit, it's minus 1 to 0, and so it's going to be plus 1 in this side, you know, let me show it. Mod phi and 4, it has to be 1, 0, 1, and minus 2, it will be positive 1, and then imagine numbers. So here it's 1. I hope this is clear. Now then, when you put in the calculator, you will get the final answer. All we do is this integrals mode 1. Let's go back to the computation mode, integral symbol. From here we have 2 divided by x squared plus 1 minus of minus x. Close the bracket, and the limits are from minus 1 to 0. Plus, again, integral 2 divided by x squared, it's alpha x, squared plus 1, and it's minus x only. And it is from 0 to 1. The answer is 2.1415, and you can see it is Just write it. I'm gonna keep it in my mind, but you can write it down. And here it is pi divided by 2 minus, here we have pi by 2 minus 1. I did double check this. It should be 2.1415. This is wrong, this answer. Over here, you can do it manually and check it. I did it manually and checked it. Whatever the answer we got is the correct one. So I'm just going to write it out over here. Let me clear it out. The answer for this will be 2.141592, and it goes on. So that's the correct answer. I hope that's clear. And so this one we have already done in the second MCQ. This was, you have to take one part, this part first minus the second part, but in the second integral you swap them, not the same thing. So here we go. There was phi ln phi minus 4. See, this is how the graphs are, and this is the down. This equation was down, and the linear function was up. The second one, the rational function was up, and the linear function was down. Okay, we have a trigonometric function. This is an interesting one because they have given us the limits, and we need to find. Okay, now this is going to be not tricky because we need to find all the intersecting points of sine and cosine between 0 to 2 pi. Now, if you know the unit circle, it's much easier to understand. I know 45 degrees for sure. It's always 45 degrees. And then over here, if you go back, it will be 180, 225 degrees. At these 2 degrees, what happens is they are same. Sine and cosine are equal. That means that's the intersecting points. From the unit circle, we know the formulas over here are the same, or you can try to graph them like this, and then you will see where it touches. That'll be at 45 degrees and 225 degrees. But here, they have also given the closing limit and the ending limit, start and ending limit. So there'll be lots of intervals. It'll be from 0 to 45. So I'll write over here 245. Then we have 45 to 225. And then 225 to 360 degrees. Here you need to get this all in terms of pi. It's better to keep it in pi because here then we can just keep the radian mode and solve it up. I'll show you in calculator how we can change them from degree to radians. To convert from degree to radian, it's pretty simple. Whatever the answer you have, 45, just divide by 180 because 180 is the pi value. Now this is in terms of pi. So what you can do is basically 45 by 180 into pi. So it's 1/4 pi. Now if you want to find 225, just write 225. Oh, it's 225 divided by 180 times pi. It's 5 pi by 4. You can see these values here. It's 0 to pi by 4. Pi by 4 to 5 pi by 4, which we got. And 5 pi by 4 to 2 pi. I'll just write the intervals. How it will be is, first thing will be 0 to pi by 4 plus, next one will be pi by 4 to 5 pi by 4, and then last one will be 5 pi by 4 to 2 pi because these are the ending limits. So now one more thing is, whichever is first, it'll keep on alternating. So now what I'm saying is, see here, the first one is taken as cos, then sine. So in the next, you should take sine cos, then again cos sine. Now I'm going to change it to the other one. Instead of cos, I'll take first one as sine. But always remember, in trigonometric function, cosine starts from up above, sine starts from down. So first one will always be cosine, but I'm just going to change it from sine x minus cos x. The next one will be cosine x minus sine x, and lastly sine x minus cosine x. I'm not writing dx and everything. Let's put this thing in the calculator. So now here it'll be integral sine x, close the bracket, minus cosine x. Then we start from 0 to pi by 4. So 0 to pi divided by 4. Then plus. Now since we had used sine, I'm going to use cosine now. Cosine x, close the bracket, minus sine x. And then we start from pi by 4 here. Shift pi by 4. And we have 5 pi by 4, 5 pi by Okay, I pressed something wrong. Let me go back. Pi is shift and over here divided by 4. Okay, I'm doing too many blunders now. And plus the last interval, it's again sine x, close the bracket, minus cosine x. And it is 5 by 4 pi to 2 pi. That's 360 degrees. Now please remember, it should not be in degree mode, it should be shift mode, 4 to radian. And here we go, the answer is minus 5.6568. Why is it minus? Because I chose the other way around, isn't it? Now let me show you what is the exact answer. It should be 5.6568. 4 root 2 is 5.6568. The only thing is I purposely changed these values. I was not in order, though it's a common thing. Cosine is always up above than sine when we start. When we begin at 0, it's always up. So then just alternate it out. That's how we solve it. You can see the graphs here. Cosine, it starts from 1 and then it goes, and you can see at 40 and 225 degrees, they do touch each other, they intersect. And then we stop at 360 degrees because I've given it's 2 pi. So that's how we solve this out. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. In this question, we'll find the area between curves using definite integrals. And in these problems, most of the time, there will be a figure given to you and then you need to solve the problem. So here you can see for x minus x squared as shown in this figure, find the value of L, where a1 and a2 are equal, and a1 is this part, a2 is this part. Now the actual way to solve it is very lengthy. It takes a long time. I did solve it, and finally using integrals, a long method, you will get the answer. But what I'll do is I'll try my best to show you some shortcuts. These are more reliable because, you know, if you're going to solve it manually, it's just going to take a long time. So what you need to do is for this one, if it's a straight line, so you know this is the equation, right? When you solve these two equations, this and this, you get the intersection points over here and over here. You can see that approximately, if you draw a straight line, they'll be equal to, okay, they are all crooked lines, but they are approximately equal to these two, that is 0.725 and 0.75. So you need to make sure to get an equation and solve it such that you'll get these two answers. But what is this equation? Y? It's L, and that's one of this answer, right? So let me write these two equations out. This one is x minus x squared, and this one is y is equal to L. So let me equate it. X minus x squared must be equal to L to get those intersection points. So let me take L to the other side. It will be minus x squared plus x minus L equals 0. Now, we don't know what is L, but we have four options, right? So how about we'll try solving them up and then see which is the most reliable answer. Here we go, mod phi and 3 because it's quadratic. The first one is minus 1, then we have 1 and minus, let's choose 13 by 6. 13 divided by 6. The answer is imaginary, so that cannot be the answer. So we just ignore that and let's go to the next one. So what about minus 16 divided by 3? This is also wrong. Now in the solution set, this was considered to be the correct answer. It's of course wrong because 16 by 3 is nowhere here. 16 by 3 is 5.33. It's not within this line. But when I solved it manually, you know, with the steps, with the integration physically, and then substituting it, I got this as the final answer. So let me show you why. Let me try this. 3 divided by 16, but I forgot to write the minus sign. Here it is 3/4, that is 0.75, and 1/4. So yes, this will be your correct answer. Now we can try one more. Say for example 7 divided by 40, and it's not the correct answer because it's
way off. And so therefore you can easily deduce which is the correct answer. So instead of all the, the big long methods. So option C over here. What about this problem? Here they have asked you to write an integral for area 2 and 3. Now there are two ways. When I was doing in the class, students found it very easy to see from the options which is A2 and A3 rather than writing an equation by themselves. So you can do it because if A2 and A3 is asked, just look into the options and let's see which is the correct one. And then I'll directly tell you how to do this as well. So what is integral? This is dy. Dy means it should be along the limits y. So dy, it should be 0 to 4 along the y-axis. So this is wrong. I'm not going to go forward with that because it'll just give you half of that. So dy over here 0 to 4, yes, that might be true. Where is 2? 2 is over here, right? Correct, that's fine. Root y, which is root y exactly? See, now there are two equations. Y is equal to 2x and y is equal to x squared. If we had integral with respect to x, then the limits would have been 0 to 2 and we would have equations like this, 2x minus x squared. Now what I've written is this and this. The answer is over here A2. But we don't have it along with respect to x, not along x-axis, it's along y-axis. You can see the options all are along y. So it's not up and down, it's a right and left. So we need to write these equations as well in terms of x is equal to, not y is equal to. So it's not y anymore. If we have to change this, it'll be y by 2 is equal to x and square root y is equal to x. So these two should be in the options. Yes, these all have, this is wrong because y squared is not there. This is wrong. This or this, let's check it out. 2 is the right function. Yes, this is correct. And minus square root y, that means it's this. So which areas are in consideration? It's only this much, that is A3. This is equal to A3. We need A2 and A3. So let's see whether it's 2 minus y by 2. Y by 2 is this. Yes, that's correct. Even A2 is included. This is A2 plus A3. So option D is correct. Now, if you're writing your own equation, then what will happen is, see, since over here it's all about y-axis, I'm going to stick to y-axis, this axis. The limits is going to be 0 to 4. Now it's right and left, not up and down. So I need A2 and A3. So which is the last point? Over here it's 2. Okay, x is 2, that's fine. Minus, this is included, this one also is included. So which one is this line? Y is equal to 2x, but I can't write in terms of 2x. I should write in terms of y. That will be x is equal to y by 2. And it's dy. So that is the correct answer. Here we go. Option D. Now this one we just did. So now you can try this. You can try manually over here. Now this is erroneous because I think so till over here it was correct because I did by myself. I got correct till over here. Then I applied the limit, upper limit minus the lower limit. And wait a minute, I can't exactly remember. But when I did it in a different method, I did get this, and then the answer would be 3 by 16. 16 by 3 is wrong here. It is 3 by 16. This is wrong. Now, what if they both are having a, line, linear line? Now, in this case, you need to understand the integrals. So now, what is the total area? How can you find it? The total area can be found out by, say, this much. Let's take along the x-axis, 0 to 1. And it is upper function minus the lower function. What is the upper function? This one is given as for x minus x squared. And this is y is equal to kx. So here what you do is x minus x squared minus, what is the lower function? This much whole, right? Whole area, it will be x is equal to 0, right? Over here x is 0. So this one. So here, sorry, y is equal to 0. Y is equal to 0, not x. It's in terms of y is equal to now. Minus 0, no need of writing it along dx. So you just put this in the calculator, you'll find the total area. So your integral from x minus x squared, we have 0 to 1. It is 1 by 6. Okay, that's the total area. that is 1 by 6. Now this area, what we found is the total area of this figure from here till 0 over here. Now we need, if you want A1, because that'll help us more. What is A1 or A2? It's half of this, isn't it? Because they both are equal, given to us. So half of 1 by 6 is 1 by 12. Now, how does this help us? We can write integral from 0 to this particular point. I don't know where is this intersecting point. You can tell it's around something, 0 point something. So from that, we will see how to find it in a minute. But that is the upper limit. And what is the upper equation here? It's x minus x squared minus the lower equation. What is that? Kx. Okay. This entire thing is equal to how much? It's with respect to dx. With respect to dx will be equal to 1 by 12. And I don't know what is this. Now we will find this in a minute. So if I put this in the calculator and see the 4 options, because this is multiple choice, you have the 4 options with you. Keep on changing the k values, and whichever gives you 1 by 12 is the correct answer. There can't be any other answer. So that will be giving you the accurate answer. Now this is the easier way. Otherwise, you need to do a lot of, lots of methods, lots of steps. It'll be more longer. So if it's multiple choice, then this is a shorter and easier method. Now, how can you find this intersecting point? We know these two equations are intersecting at 0. That's obvious. But what about the other point? So here we know it's x minus x squared. That will be equal to kx. Let's solve them. So let me take x outside. It'll be x, that's gone, sorry. It's 1 minus x is equal to kx. I know already 1 is 0, but I'll just cancel this because I'm looking for the other one in terms of k. That'll be x to the other side. See, it's 1 minus x is equal to k, right? I need x is equal to, so it'll be 1 minus k equals x. It's 1 minus k. So here now, what do we have is, we have this particular point. This is 1 minus k, that is equal to x. So if you want to find k value, we are very, very close. 1 minus k. So k will be around, say, it should be less than 0.25. That's what I can say. This much is 0.25. It's less than that, isn't it? Because it's 1 minus k. So we have to think, what is the k value, right? Anyways, so what next? We have this. So I'll write over here 1 minus k. Now I have everything, but I don't know the k value, but I know the answer that I must get. So look into the answer, look into the options. Let's go to the answer directly. See over here, this is the answer, right? Let's put it in the calculator and check. So here, integral, let's open the bracket, x minus x squared, close the bracket here, minus, I don't know the k value, but I need to look into all the 4 options and substitute them. So first, let me open one bracket here, and then I will open another bracket for k and then x. Let me just open this bracket, then this is for k. That is 1 minus, sorry, it's over here. So my bad, I pressed the wrong sign. It's divided by 1 over here, shift and the square root gives you automatically a cube root, and then close the bracket. I've just put k, and then what is multiplied it with? It'll be multiplied by x. Now close the bracket. This is the second equation done. Dx, let it be over there, and it's 0 and 1. Now again I have to write this minus, use the bracket. Why? Because it's 1 minus, there's 2 terms over here. So 1 minus 1 divided by cube root to close the bracket here. And here we go. The answer has to be 1 by 12 because we know that's the area. So this is how we can solve it. And let's solve this up. How much is 1 minus, let's try it out. 1 minus 1 by cube root 2 will give you 0.2. It's correct, isn't it? 1 minus 0.2, it's about 0.8. And, okay, the figure has moved here. Let's go back over here. Yes, it's about 0.8. So we can also approximate it. Now, it works when all the 4 options are given. It's easier to do it like this. I hope this is clear. And if you try all the other options, that'll be wrong. Only one correct answer will give you the correct 1 by 12 area for A1. Now we will check the other ones. So how do we solve this? Here they have told integral 0 to 2. That means it's along dx, along the x-axis. Yeah, it's dx. 2x, which is 2x? This is the line 2x, right? The pink line. Minus x squared, the blue line. What is the area within it? It's A2. So the area is A2. What about this one? It's again dx. 4 is the topmost. 4 minus x squared. So it's A2 already there, but A1 is also included. If you look carefully, from 0 to 2, it's dx, and 4, this to the blue line, minus x squared. So it'll be A1 and A2. A1 plus A2 is the correct answer. What about this? It's along dy. Now it changes. It's right minus left. Where is 2? Yes, this one. This is the line. Minus square root y. Square root y means it's y is equal to x squared. You take the square root both the sides. It'll be x is equal to square root y. This blue line. So it's A3 here. The answer is A3. And what about this one? See here now they have asked the square root y. That means the blue line and minus y by 2. This one. Right minus left. So it is A2. Area 2 is considered because it's this square root y minus y by 2. Right minus left will be A2. So here we go. The answer is, which is A2, the same as part A. Okay, what about A2 plus A3? Now we need to write the integrals. Now they have not asked you which way, but the problem is in the exam, you will look into the options. If it's all along dx, then you should write along dx. I'll write along dx now. See, look at this. This is much easier, right minus left. So I think so the option will be along right minus left is along dy. So integral 0 to 4, it'll be square root y minus y by 2. Not square root y, my bad. Why? Because over here it is 2. 2 minus y by 2. Y by 2, yes. This will be the correct answer. So that's how we do it. But if you're wondering how to do it along dx, okay, then it's 0 to 2 dx. Which is the upper function we need? A2 upper one will be 2x minus, what is the lowest one? That's over here. That's y is equal to 0 minus 0. It will be integral 0 to 2x dx. So that'll be area 2 plus 3. And here we go. They have written in terms of dy itself because it's more easier, right minus left. What about 1 plus 2? Now here then it'll be, you can do right minus left, but up and down it's easier. So it'll be integral 0 to 2 up, it is 4 minus x squared dx. That will be the answer. Okay, they have told us to go to exercise 39 part B. Let's go to part B of exercise, okay, over here. So you can see that's the same thing what we have got as well. Please remember the brackets as well. So that's the answer. And what about A1? A1, you can just write it like this one itself, integral 0 to 2. But instead of 4 minus x squared, we can just do 4 minus 2x dx. That's it. I hope that's clear. And lastly, what is A3? A3 will be, now this is easier if you write it along dy. So it'll be 0 to 4. It's along dy. So right side, what is it? 2 minus square root y. That'll be A3. Or if you want to write in dx, it'll be x squared minus 0. So here we go. It's same as 39 part C. Let's go to part C 39. Here they have given us, 2 minus square root y dy 0 to 4. I hope this is clear. This is easier. But even if you don't want to write it, you will have 4 options. You will have the options. Just solve those options and you will get the correct answer. That's the best way to double check it. So now here 0 to 2, it's along dx. Yes. 4, upper value 4 minus 2x. This is it. So what is this? It's A1. So yeah, that's correct. That's how you can easily solve it as well. In this question, we will find the volume using definite integration. So this is the formula here. You need to integrate the area with its limits. The limits will be given to you. You can see in this question, if these limits are not given, now say for example, you're finding area of certain, like this, a shape. How much do you have to find? We have no idea. So they'll give you the limit from this to this or from year to year. So that limit must be given. And all the problems they give you. And the equation, the area equation, will also be given. So it's very straightforward. It's options. All you need is a calculator here. All you do is integral from x plus 2. The limit is -1. The smaller value is always down and the bigger value is up. The answer is 12. It's A. Similarly, we can solve this one here. Again, integral 2 bracket x plus 1 the whole squared. And the limits are 1 to 4. The answer is 78, option D. Similarly, you can try these by yourselves. I'm going to do the second one. Doesn't matter how the equation is, just type it out. 10 e to the power, that is by shift and log, e to the power 0.01 x, and the limits are from 0 to 10, of course, because this is, exponential function. It is only from the positive axis. So it is 10 point something. Okay, now here what happens is you don't have this 105.17, but you have this. So let's solve it up. 1000 times e to the power 0.1 minus 1, close the bracket, is equal to the same value. So that's how we solve it. Even over here, now let's see, make sure it's in radian mode because you have pi here. Integral, pi is shift and the symbol here. Open the bracket, 4 minus x squared. Sorry, it's 4 minus x, close the bracket, and then we square it up from 0 to 2. If you want to convert to radian mode, shift mode and then press 4, it will be in radians. And the answer is 56 by 3 pi or 56 pi by 3, it's the same thing. Sometimes you might have the answer in terms of 58.64, then solve this up. If you type 56 pi divided by 3, the answer will be 58.64. That's how you can easily solve it up, and we did this a while ago.
Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot.
In this question, we'll find the arc length using definite integrals. Before we begin with that, let's recall some of the derivative formulas. If it's any constant term, it becomes 0. Power rule says the power comes down as the coefficient and subtracted by 1. If it is x power 4, it will be 4x power 3. And these are trigonometric functions, sinus, cosine. Now, what happens to cosine? It will be minus sine, sorry. So how I remember is when you derive it, anything with c, the co-function, that is cosine, cotangent, cosecant, will have a negative sign with it, with its answers. Whereas the other ones, secant, sine, and tangent, do not have a minus sign. So these are the formulas. It's very important for you to remember them. And lastly, for the exponentials, it's just e of x. Whereas if it's a constant term to the raised to the power, then it is ax natural logarithm a with whatever is the base is written again over here. And natural logarithm x is 1 by x. And these are the inverse trig functions. I hope you remember these. So whenever it is cosine, cosecant, or cotangent, the same thing, like sine, cosine is same, but the minus sign happens whenever there's co. So you can see here, secant and cosecant, literally they are the same thing, but what's the difference? The sign, minus sign. Same thing with tangent and cotangent, the sign. Now, you can easily remember it. Whenever it's 1 by 1 plus x squared, it's tan inverse. And then it'll be cotan inverse as well. Sine inverse is square root 1 minus x squared. But with the secant, it is x squared minus 1 and there is one more x. These are the inverse trig functions, and arc length formula is given as the square root of 1 plus
derivative of the given function square dx, and the limit is from a to b. Let's solve a problem. Here the limits are usually always given. You just have to write the formula because you can't directly put them in the calculator. You need to find the derivative, isn't it? So let's write the formula. A to b, that will be 0 to pi by 4 square root 1 plus, what's the derivative of the function given to us? It's secant square x. The whole square, now it's 2 times. Why? Because the derivation of tan is already secant squared, and then the whole square x dx. Dx is not required because it'll already be there when you put the integral in your calculator. So let's use our calculator now. You have to press this integral, square root 1, it's 1 plus, use the bracket here because we're using secant square the whole square. You don't have the option for secant square. You know secant squared is equal to 1 by cosine. So what we do is 1 by cosine x, close the bracket. Now here, the squared this much up, or you can just square it inside, you know. Now this which I squared inside is for 1 by cosine x the whole square. So let me put the brackets properly. It's better to understand by brackets. See this much, whatever is inside the bracket, firstly, cos x the whole square is just the secant square what I've written. Then that thing is again squared, or you can just write to the power 4 because these powers exponents just multiply. Hope that's okay. Close the bracket. And sorry, I closed one extra bracket, I believe. Yeah, this is all correct now. This entire thing is squared. And what is the mistake I'm doing? I have not put the limits. Now you need to put the limits, otherwise you won't get the answer. It's 0 and pi, that is shift and the symbol here, shift and the symbol divided by 4. I'm getting very clumsy. Okay, that's it. So that is the answer. Now if I have not put in radian mode, shift mode, and let me put it back to degree mode, see the answer is different. So shift mode and 4 to radian whenever your trigonometric functions, the answer is 1.280. Okay, that's the thing. What about this one? This is not like, you know, we don't have x, it's not easy to derive. So what do we do over here? So we have to remember, when you have 0x like this, the derivative is just substituting the x. What is the derivative of this function y dash, or that is equal to f derivative of x will be equal to x sine x. That's it. That's the derivative of the function. Now integral 0 to pi square root 1 plus x sine x the whole square dx. That is the formula we have to use. So all we use is a calculator. And here let's use integral square root of 1 plus, open the bracket, x times sine x, close the bracket, and we need to close one more bracket because this is entirely a single term, x sine x, square it up, and the limits are from 0 to pi, shift and pi. That's it. Now when I was doing this in class with my students, they were finding math error many times because the brackets, they were not either not closing it or they were adding extra brackets. So please remember, be careful with the brackets. So here we go, that's the answer. So this is really very simple problem. So here as well, the first one, you can do it directly even without writing anything. It is 1 plus the derivative of x cubed is 3x squared. But remember, use the bracket and square it up, because if there are two terms, both have to be squared. So brackets will help us doing that properly. Minus 1 to 1, and here we go, the answer has to be 3.09. Similarly, please do try the others. See, now this is the same thing, same equation, but only the limits vary. So let's try the limits. So here we go, it's minus 2 to 2. And you can see the answer is 17.26. It will take time in your calculator because this is a computer simulation. It is very quicker. With the manual calculator, it takes time. Give it maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and you will get the answer. We have done this. Similarly, you can try these by yourselves. There's nothing much in this. You need to derive it, put it in the formula, solve it up. Even over here, it's the same thing.
Now what happens over here? It is 1 by x the whole square, or you just square the x, it's fine, because when you square 1, it's 1 squared is 1. So what happens is here you square it, right? You have to square this. Derivative of ln x is 1 by x. So I write 1 by x dx, and the limit is from 1 to 3. Here we go. The answer is 2.3019. Or if you just use 1 by x squared, because if you multiply the square up and down, it'll be 1 by x squared. That's fine. Same thing over here. If you did this problem, let's even do this one. What happens here is these are very straightforward. You don't even need to write anything, because it's 1 plus wherever, open the bracket, and wherever you see u, put x, minus x. Then we have sine x. Close the bracket, square it up, and here we go. It is 0 to x. And just press equal to the answer. Okay, now what did I do wrong? It's not x. I'm sorry. I saw this one and put x. It's pi, shift and pi, and it's radian mode, so it's fine. That will be the answer. 3.22029. It's rounded off to the 4th decimal. In this question, we'll find the surface area of the given function using definite integral. Surface area is given by this formula here, integral a to b, that's the limits. It's 2 pi, the given function, multiplied by the integral. This is the arc length formula over here. The only thing that's extra is 2 pi times the given function. Let's look at a problem. Where the function is given 2x minus x squared. So what you need to do is you have to use this function and the derivative of that function as well. So let's see, integral 2 pi, the given function. That's why we write y as f of x. And y derivative y prime or y dash can be f prime of x. It's multiplied with the square root of 1 plus f prime of x, but this entire thing is squared up, and dx. The limits vary from a to b, whatever is given. So in this problem, the limits are 0 to 2. It'll be 2 pi, the given function, 2x minus x squared. And then square root of 1 minus, what's the derivative of this? It'll be 2 minus 2x the whole squared dx. You just have to put that in the calculator, and there you go. That will be the surface area. Here we have to take integral 2 pi, shift and pi over here, times 2x minus x squared. Sorry, I missed that out. It's x alpha x, and then close the bracket up. Multiplied with square root of 1. It's 1 plus, not minus. It's 1 plus. Open the bracket. It is derivative, that is 2 minus 2x. Close the bracket and then square it up. And here you go. It will be 0 to 2. The answer is 10.96. That is option C. Over here it was plus. I missed it out. When I was writing the formula is 1 plus. And let's try the next one. All I'll do is I'll do some changes here itself, and we will have the correct answer. So the derivative of sine is just cosine. But now first we write sine x as it is. Then here it's 1 plus cosine x the whole square dx. So what's the limits? I forgot to change the limits. It's 0 to pi. Here it's pi. And remember, you need to have this in the radian mode. The calculator is already in the radian mode. So it's 2 pi times sine x. So what I'll do is just take this all off, and sine x, close the bracket. And then 1 plus, here we have to write cosine x, and we need to square it up. See, this cosine x already has one pair of brackets and then another pair for the square. Don't forget to change the limits. It's pi, shift and pi, and that will be the answer. It's 14.42. That's option B. As simple as it gets. You can try these problems by yourselves. They are pretty straightforward. There's nothing difficult in these. And here's the methods, and these are the answers. Please do try them by yourselves. Now what about EX? what is the derivative of ex? It's the same thing, right? So here it's going to be, open the bracket, shift e to the power x, close the bracket, and square it up. And then there is the given function also to be ex. So here what you need to do is shift e to the power x. That's it. And now what's the limits? It's 0 to 1. And the answer is 22.94. And so this is how we can solve it. We have done this. And what about square root? Let's do the square root quickly. Now, natural logarithm x, you know the derivative is 1 by x. We have done it in the arc length problem. We had same problem. Now, what about the square root x? If you remember the formula directly, square root x is 1 by 2 root x. But if you're thinking how this happened, square root means x power half. And what's the rule? It'll be half x power negative half. Now usually we don't write these powers in terms of negative, so we take it down to make it positive. It'll be half x to the power positive half. X power half is square root, isn't it? So therefore we get the square root. Or you just remember square root x is 1 by 2 square root x. So what we do is here, this entire term needs to be written out and squared. So open the bracket, it's 1 divided by 2 square root x. And that's squared. Now what about the original function? It is square root x over here. Square root x. Now don't get confused. This particular this is not x, it's multiplication symbol. I put multiplied by. So that's the thing. And here we have the limits, that is upper limit is 2 and the lower limit is 1. And here we go. The answer is 8.28315. In this question, we'll solve real-world problems involving velocity. We have been told to identify the initial conditions, that is y0 or y0 and y prime of 0. Object is dropped from a height of 20 feet with a downward velocity of 4 feet per second. Now look at this, velocity is downwards, it's -4. And the initial height is the position function, that is y of 0. That's 20 feet. It's just told it's 20, it's not below the ground or anything. So you just tell plus 20 and -4 feet, that is y prime of 0. So it's option B here. Now another problem here, a diver drops from 30 feet above the water, from the height of an Olympic platform dive. Okay, that's not important, but over here the initial height is most important, that's 30 feet. When you start now, you have 30 feet, y of 0. What is the diver's impact velocity? Now this is not directly possible to be found out. You need to understand the given thing is only y of 0, that is 30. And now what else do we know? We know we have to find the impact velocity, but we don't have the velocity equation. What do we know is the acceleration, y double dash of 0. Sorry, of not 0, with respect to time, I'll take it as t. You can write x is equal to t because we generally write in terms of x, isn't it? Y double prime of x is minus 9.8 meter per second square. But here we don't have meter per second square, we have feet. So y double prime of x, that's acceleration, is given as minus 32 feet per second square. Now we have to use this and get velocity. We just integrate this. When you integrate that, you'll get single prime, 1 is gone, and that is the velocity. Integral of velocity, acceleration is velocity. That's minus 32, that's it, plus c. Sorry, over here 32t plus c. With respect to time, now I'm doing it x time is x. I'll just write over here. If you had a constant term, say 2, I'll just remove this feet, but no, let it be over there. But just remember, you're integrating, say, a number 2 with respect to x dx. What's the answer? It's 2x, isn't it? Same thing, minus 32. That's just the number. It'll be minus 32x plus c. Now, what is the initial velocity? It's not given, it's 0, because there's no velocity mentioned, so that means it's 0. So here, the constant part will be 0, so it'll be directly y prime of x is minus 32 itself, because this is going to be 0. I'm not going to write 0 here. Next, let's integrate this and get the position y of 0, sorry, y of x. 0 is known, that's 30, but y of x is equal to minus 32 x squared by 2. Why did I write this plus c? So here the power rule says whenever you have a variable x, it'll be x squared divided by whatever the highest power, you write it down over here. So minus 32 x squared by 2. And now, you know, minus is 32 and divide by 2, you can just simplify it. Y of x is equal to minus 16 x squared. But what is the initial condition? What is given over here? Y of 0, that is 30. So if you put x over here 0, everything goes off. You'll have 30 remaining as c. C will be 30. So I'll directly write this. Whatever is the initial conditions will be the c value. 30. This is the position function. Now we need impact time. Impact time is when this particular given height, the height of the function, this height function, where the time is 0, in the sense, now at 30 feet, right? Start jumping. When this position is 0, that is the impact time. That time, we are finding time of impact now, basically. So what we do is, whatever is this thing, y of x, we make it 0 is equal to minus 16x squared plus 30. Now we can solve this and find the times when there is impact. Impact means is the diver will touch the water, and that is like the height is 0 at that time, and that time we can find, and then we can find the velocity. If you know the time, we know the velocity function here, right? So this was velocity. From acceleration, acceleration, we got velocity by integrating it. This is velocity, right? Only the thing is x, the time at which the time of impact is unknown. So let's use the calculator and find it out. Here, let's do mod 5 and 3 for quadratics. It's minus 16. There is no x term, so it's 0. And lastly, we have 30 as a constant term. The answer is 1.369. Let's see one more answer. It's negative. You can't have negative times, so here we will have to consider only the positive value, that is this one. Let us take, since we are doing this anyways, let's take the exact value. It's better to take this because it'll be more accurate. So x, or the time of impact time, is equal to square root 30 by 4. So now all you need to do is this multiplied with minus 32 gives you the answer, because we know it's let me go to mode 1. The velocity function is given as minus 32 times square root 30 by 4. That's it. What's the answer? It is 43.82. That's the first one. And minus, because they're coming down. So the velocity is downwards. Why? Because the diver is jumping from up to down. You're not jumping up, downwards you're coming. So it'll be negative. That's the answer. So you need to do this. You have to do this. And once you do this, you will, whatever the velocity you get, just put it back. So remember what is given to you. If at all it was given in terms of meters, then use minus 9.8. But here it was given in terms of feet, so use minus 32 feet per second square. Generally, they might give that in the question itself, use so much. But if they're not given, just look at the unit of measure and then solve it up. Over here, this is again very simple problems. Object is dropped from a height of 80. So y of 0 is 80, velocity is not mentioned, it's 0. What about this one? Again, y of 0 is 100, but y prime of 0 is 0. An object is released at a height of 60 feet with upward velocity of 10. It is y of 0 is 60, and then velocity is positive 10. And here it's 20, and downward velocity will be minus 4. So, okay, for the next part, that you need to know these integration formulas. I hope you remember these. So we just did this a while ago. So this is the answer. You can see it's minus 32. That's the acceleration due to gravity in terms of feet per second square. And then you can solve it up. The answer is minus 43.8 feet per second. Now, also you can do one more way, that is convert this to foot and meter to foot. 1 meter is 3.28 feet. So what you're doing is considering, you're converting the initial, this one 30 feet is converted to meters, that is about approximately 9 meters. And then you can solve it up, minus 9.8, and then use the same formulas. You will get the answer. And whatever answer you get is minus 13.3, that's meter per second. That's the velocity in terms of meter per second. But if you convert this to feet, whatever answer we got just a while ago, that's the correct answer. Same thing, please do try it with 120 feet. Now we have this here. So all you need to do is the final one over here changes. Instead of 30, what we have, it is 120. So let me just do the alteration here. And now what you do is put this in the calculator and check for the time. What is the impact time? Here we will do mod phi and 3. The coefficient of x squared is minus 16, 0, and lastly we have 120. So the answer is square root 30 by 2, that is 2.73. Let me write it. Square root 30 divided by 2. And the other one will be negative, so we ignore that. Now, this one is multiplied, square root 30 by 2 is multiplied with the velocity equation, that is times minus 32. So the answer must be negative 87.63. So here we go. And the answer is negative 87 point. Okay, they have written in terms like this, but you can see here what they have done is they have simplified this and they have written in one radical. But I'll just simplify this and solve it to the number value, and we should get 84. Sorry, it is 87, right? So minus 87.63. Let me solve this up. Minus 32. Let me all clear. Minus 32 times radical 15 divided by 2, that is minus 87.63. It's the same answer. So whenever you get the options, if this is an electronic part, so you'll have 4 options, just simplify this and check with whatever you get. So that's how we solve it. It's literally the same problem what we did a while ago, but only the thing is it's 120 feet over here. The previous one was 30 feet. Also, you can convert this to meters and then solve it. Over here, it's converted to meter. It'll be in terms of 36 meter, and then you can solve it up. But then the answer is entirely in meter per second. Now, this problem is to compare the two questions. Usually, you will never have this because, you're solving one question, that's it. But if you compare, you could see that as it was increasing, the velocity also was increasing, right? So that's it. You can just see over here, it'll be compared. If you compare it, there's a factor which you multiply, and that will be the increase. So basically, that's it. And here you can see the factor is about, they have got this as a factor, square root of whatever y0 divided by 4. And here you go. But focus on how to solve it. If you have these, now you can just solve this. I think so they had to write over here 30 feet. It was 30 feet, 120 feet, and example at 3,000 feet. So if you solve all of them, then you can see it has been increased by a certain factor. You just divide them, just find the ratios, you'll get the factor. You don't need to do all this otherwise. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. In this question, we will compute integrals using direct computation and rules. Here we have been told to find the integral of this. Here we have a constant and then the variable x. But all of these can be directly solved in the calculator. Let me show you how. You have the integral symbol, but we are not going to use integral because the issue is we don't know the limit if you use the integral symbol. But if you use the derivative symbol, we have only an x value. We can assume an x value and consider that to be. So now before I start this, let me just tell you how this works. Say for example, I have to find the integral of, say, 3x squared dx. What will be the answer? What is the answer? The answer will be, if you integrate this, it'll be 3x cubed by 3 plus c, which is equal to x cubed plus c. Now, if I derive this, 3 comes down to be x squared. I'm getting this question, isn't it? So basically, if I derive this, it is this part. Now, that means if I derive this d by dx of x cubed with respect to x, say I'll take it as 2. What must be the value? It'll be 3 times 4 is 12. Let me show you over here. It'll be x cubed at x value of 2 will be 12. Now the same thing, the given question without the integral, just the question 3x squared, calculate this at 2, and here we go, answer is 12. So that should match. Whichever matches, yes, that means it is correct. So now the same thing we are going to apply over here. This is 1 divided by square root a squared. Now the problem is we don't know what's a. I'll just assume the value a to be 3, x to be 2. I generally take x as 2, but in certain cases, we will have to change. Say, for example, the question is becoming undefined. Then we will have to change the x value. But here now, we will substitute instead of a as 3 squared minus x squared. Make it a habit to put x as x itself. And then calculate what is the x value? 2. Now I got this value 0.447. It's 0.44772. Now then, I will have to find the derivative, shift d by dx of all these 4, and then I'll get it. So here let me try with this first one, sine inverse of a, that is 3 divided by x, close the bracket, and the x value was 2. Is it? No, it's wrong. It's math error. So that means I'm not going to get the answer over here. But this one was sine inverse. Let me just try that before I change the others. It's x divided by 3 at x is equal to, oh yes, it is matching. So this is the correct answer. It's option C here. But let me try the other two as well. Let me check the tan inverse. So it's tan inverse, shift and tan. And now you can see it is not matching. And what about secant inverse? Okay, now this is an important thing because secant inverse, we might find other problems as well. I told you we don't have secant, so we use 1 by cosine. Or we don't have cosecant, so we use 1 by sine. Or we don't have cotangent, so we use 1 by tan. But when it is inversed, please remember, secant inverse means you need to do directly cos inverse and 1 by the term, 1 by x. If it's cos inverse x, this is the formula. So what happens over here is exactly, now anyways, this is the wrong answer, but you need to put cos inverse, shift and cosine, cos inverse, and this will be changed. It will be 1 divided by, again divided by x by 3. Or you can just swap it 3 by x, but it's wrong. This is not the answer. So that's how we can easily solve any integral problem just by this. Let's look in the next one as well. Here we have to just put this part. Now make sure it's in radian mode. It's already in radian mode, but otherwise you should press shift mode and 4. Then let me type in sine 6 times x. Close the bracket and calculate x at 2. It is, let me write it out over here, minus 0.5365. And then what do we have here? We have 4 options. Shift dy by dx, negative 1 by 6, cosine 6x, close the bracket, and the value over here is 2. Is that matching? Oh, in fact it is, so that is the correct answer. But none of the others would have matched. Let me just change it over here. If it matches, then that means there are 2 correct answers that cannot be possible. So it would be wrong. So here we go. This not matching. You can try the others, it won't match. What about cosecant? Here, if you have to try cosecant, then it would have been 1 divided by sine 6x. This is how we write it. 6 times x. And here it's not matching. So that's the thing. Only when it's inverse, if it was cosine inverse, then you write sine inverse up only and then you put this. But if it is directly cosecant, then it's 1 by sine. So these are the formulas. You need to remember these formulas and you can try them by yourselves. So we have tried already these. I'll just do this exponential e to the power a. I'm just going to assume as 3 and alpha x. Let me calculate it at 2. The answer is 403.43. Now you need to know the answers. Over here the answer is given, shift dy by dx. You will have 4 options. You need to try all of them and then conclude which is the correct one. Here it will be shift e 3 times x, and the x value is 2, and the answer is 403.4. Similarly, you can try the others. All of them, well, we have done this. All of them will give you the correct answer because you have options with you. And similarly, over here now, you remember, okay, the question is wrong. Over here there's b, but remember what you need to do is cosine inverse and then 1 by this. Let me do this over here. Now here, when I looked at the question, I realized something very important. It's x squared minus a squared. So here, if you, let's imagine we are taking x value of 2 and a value of 3. It's inside the square root. It's going to be 4, that's 2 squared is 4, minus 3 squared is 9. You will have square root of negative 5. Is this possible? It's not, because this is an imaginary number. So here you need to change the value of x. I usually take x as 2, but I'll just stick to a as 3. Now look here, this b value is there. In fact, this is missing. The question had to be b over here. Let me take the b value of 4. And then what I'm going to do is, just to be on the safer side, x value as 5. Okay, the last value. So now let us first type everything in the given question. What is the question here? It is b is 4 divided by, now you can use the modulus symbol. Most of the time, even if you don't use it, it's okay. But certain times, it's better to put it. Shift and h5p, you get modulus. So that means both positive and negative will only be positive. Positive will be considered. So, and since we are not assuming any of the values negative, so it doesn't matter much, but it's better to have it anyways. Alpha x, and multiply it with the square root of x squared minus, what is a squared value? It is 3 squared. See, now if I calculate this, say at 2, let me try it at 2 itself. I'll get a math error. Why? Because I'm getting imaginary number. So I need to calculate 5. In certain cases, when you don't get the answer, you get a math error or something like that, or 0, change the assumed x value. So this is 0.2. So here, for this condition, the value is 1 by 5 or 0.2. So now what I need to do is this particular answer, I must get the same thing. But I need to derive shift dy by dx. What was b? b was 4 divided by modulus of 3. Multiply this with secant inverse. So it will be cosine inverse. And then you need to put the x value here. So now one more thing. I know it, I can't, if after cos inverse, I can't take x and a, it should be swapped. Or you can write it as 1. And again, you need to write x divided by a, that is 3. I hope this is clear, because for inverse, we don't write 1 by cos inverse. We write cos inverse and then 1 by x by 3. And here then, what do we do is close this bracket. And another bracket is closed. What is the x value? See, I will show you. If I put 2, I'll get a math error. If I put anything less than 3, I believe I'll get a math error. 3, oh, that's 23. It's too big. But I assumed 5, so I'll assume over here as well 5. And do we get it correctly? Yes, we are getting 0.2. So that's correct. Now, even you could have taken 4. You will get some value, because 4 would be, it's 0. But then it's still a complication. So always in such cases, take a proper value more than that. So it's positive inside the square root. So answer is 0.2. So this is the correct answer. Whereas all the other options can be eliminated. Only one will match the given question. It was 1 by 5, 0.2, and this particular answer only matches it. Similarly, please do try these by yourselves. They're all pretty straightforward. And here as well, lastly, we have got these. So in the exam, you need to try all the four options, and whichever doesn't match, you need to just eliminate it. And make sure your calculator is in radian mode, only then this will work. In this question, we will compute integrals. Since it's the electronic part, you have four options and you can easily figure out the correct option using a calculator. First step, whenever you have been given to solve integrals, don't put this integral. See, don't press this because you have limits and all, which is not given here. This is indefinite integral. So what you need to do is just put in the equations, whatever the function is given. That is, instead of t, I'm going to use x plus 1 divided by x squared plus 2x plus 4. Now I will calculate it at 2 because I usually use 2 for any of this integral calculation. You will get the answer. So here the answer is 1/4 or 0.25. Now you need to solve all the four options and one of this is the correct answer. Let's see how do you solve it. You need to press shift and this symbol, you get derivative. So when we derive it at the same x value, which we assume 2, right? All of these must be put over here 2. We'll do that later, but you need to put in entirely this entire equation. So now how do we write it? Half, that is 1 by 2. Now there is natural logarithm, ln, it's open. But there is a modulus symbol, that means it's the absolute value. To get that, you need to press shift and HYP. If you have the latest model of the calculator, it will be shift and one of these symbols, open or close brackets. Now, for this model, shift and HYP, that's hyperbolic, you will get absolute value. The two lines come up. Now, open the bracket and whatever is there, write it as it is. It is t, that is x plus 1, close the bracket and square it up. And then plus 3. And then I will go out of this and see over here, ln open bracket, right? I need to close that bracket first. Because see, when you start this, there is already one default bracket open and closed. Then when I clicked on natural logarithm, one bracket opened up. Then I used absolute. Then I came out of absolute, closed the ln bracket, and then already initially bracket is closed as well. And now I put the x value of 2 and let me put equal to, see, this is the correct answer itself. Now here we were lucky, we got the first option itself as correct. But if this was not 0.25, then you need to go to the second option. See over here, instead of half, we have, I'll do this one, the third option, because it's easy to change. It's 1/4 ln. Over here it is 3, and then we have plus 1. See whether this is correct. No, it's not 0.25. We can try this one, the option second one. Here is 2 ln, and then we have t squared, that is x basically. I've written twice x. Okay, now it's proper. Plus 1, and the bracket is closed, but there is no power and there is no extra terms. So this one is equal, is it correct? No, it's 1.6, it's not 2.5, 0.25. This is the correct answer, which we saw at the beginning. It's only option A. Here as well, we can use the calculator and get the answer directly. First, let's type this out. It is 4x divided by 5 plus 2x plus x squared. Now calculate this at 2 and let's see what's the answer. It's 8 by 13 or 0.615. So I'll write at least 4 decimal points at x is equal to 2. The value which we get corresponds to 0.61538. This must match with whatever one of these options. Now how do we get it? Shift and dy by dx, and let's type it out. 1 by 2, and then we have ln. It's modulus, so shift and hyp. If it is the latest, okay, now it's shift, not alpha, it's shift and hyp. If it's the latest model of the calculator, it's shift and one of these open bracket or close bracket symbol. Then we type in 2 plus t squared. Now that's done. We move out of the bracket, close the bracket. See, this entire thing is a single term. Now when we press ln, we get open and close brackets. Here they have just used the modulus. So open bracket is by default, then the modulus, and then we need to close the bracket when we start the next term. Now it's minus half tan inverse, then we have x divided by 2. And now I'm not going to write plus c. I didn't write even the previous problem. Why? Because that won't make a difference. Now I'll show you. Let me write plus 25. And what is the x value? It's 2. So the value over here is 5 by 24. No, we got 3 by 18. Let's see, this is the answer. No, it's not the correct one. Now I'll just remove this 25. Still, it's 0.208 itself. Let me just add any other number, some huge number. See, the answer is literally the same. It does not make any difference. Why? Because a derivative of any constant is 0. So this will be the same answer. Okay. Let's go to the next option because this doesn't match with our initial value. It is ln. So I'll remove this entirely. Now it's removed. Ln is gone. It's 2 plus. Now let's open the bracket because I'm following whatever is over here. It's only x plus 2, close the bracket and square it up. Then we have to finish the absolute. Yes, it's done. Minus, now there is no half, minus tan inverse. Now it's x plus 1 divided by 2 plus c. Plus c is not required. That's the answer. It's 0.29, which doesn't match as well. Let's quickly try the next one. 2 natural logarithm over here. It's 4 plus x plus 1 the whole squared, and it's minus 2 tan inverse of x plus 1. Yes, that's done. Okay, this is the correct answer. It matches. So it should be option C. We don't need to do the option D. If you do it, it'll be something else as well. So that's how we can easily solve these up. In fact, we did the same problem just now. This is the answer which we tried. You will get 0.61538. How about this one? Please do try these problems by yourselves. But over here, the correct answer is only there. But in the exam, you'll have 4 options. You need to try all of them. Now, I'll show you all of this will match. If it doesn't match, then that means it's not the correct answer. And then you need to go to the next option. Here, first, just put in this value. It is x plus 1 divided by x squared plus 2x plus 4. Calculated at 2. Okay, we had done this at the beginning. Remember, it's 0.25. Now, if you put this, yes, this was plus 3. This will be the correct answer. Let me do another one because that was already done. Let me try this. Here we have e to the power 3 minus 2x. And what x value do we calculate? 2. So you need to remember this. It's 0.3678. I just keep it in my mind. But in the exams, please do write it down. Now let me look into the options. This is the correct answer, but anyways, shift dy by dx and negative half, that is 1 by 2, sorry, 1 divided by 2, and then we write e to the power, it's 3 minus 2x. That's it. What is the x value? 2. Is it 0.36? Yes, absolutely, it's correct. Similarly, we can try this one. I will first check the answer and then I'll do the question because I know this is the correct answer. That's why I'm doing it anyways. It is minus 6x. So it is 6 and x. And here we have 6 and up above we have 3. This is the value. See, if it comes like this, please do write it down properly and make sure you write into 10 to the power minus 5. This is very important. Now, when I solve this up, 3 divided by e to the power 6x and calculate this at 2, so you can see it's 1.84. It's 10 to the power minus 5. Yes, absolutely correct. Similarly, we can do these problems as well. It'll be the same way, same method. I type in 4 divided by x power 1/3. Or you can write it as cube root as well. It's up to you. Times 1 plus x to the power 2/3. It's 2 divided by 3. and we will just close the bracket over here and calculate this at 2. When we calculate it at 2, it's 1.227. Now this entire answer must give us the same. See over here, this is the answer. It was done by U substitution, and then over here we get the answer. So shift dy by dx, 6 natural logarithm. Make sure you press shift and absolute value. Now 1 plus x squared, sorry, 1 plus x power 2, yeah, divided by 3. It's not this, it's the power that is divided. So I will just press x, and then this one over here is 2 by thirds. And we press next, and make sure you close this bracket, because when we click on ln, by default a bracket opens up. It's at 2. It's 1.227. Yes, that was the value which we had. Same way we can try the others. Here it is 2 divided by x power, I'll write it as 0.25. 0.25 is 1/4, and then plus x, and calculate it at 2, and we get 0.627. Now looking at the answers, all the 4 options must be there, and now we need to solve this, and we need to get 0.627. So here we have 8 by 3 and natural logarithm of shift and hyp, and now we can write 1 plus x to the power 3/4, that is 0.75. And that's it. We need to go next of the absolute value, and then close the bracket, and then type in x is equal to 2, which it is 0.627. Similarly here as well, open the bracket up, the fraction symbol, sine square root x, close the bracket, press next and close the bracket. Now here down below it's just square root x. Calculated at 2, the answer is 0.698. So the answer must give us that. But you need to press shift dy by dx, and also very important, it must be in radian mode, and it is in radian mode, so it's fine. We are getting the correct answers itself. It's minus 2 cosine square root x. Go next and then close the bracket up, and over here we have 2. Yes, that's correct. I'm just going to solve all these. You can just move ahead because it's the same way, same method. 1 by x, the next, and close the bracket. Over here we have x squared. Calculated at 2, it's 0.219. Now the answer must give us that shift dy by dx minus sine 1 divided by alpha x. And then you need to close, because there are 2 open brackets, 2 closed brackets must be there. And yes, it's 0.219. In this question, we will compute problems on integrals. Since it's the electronic part, we can use the calculator and easily solve any of these integrals. First thing, remember the calculator must be in radian mode. If it is not in radian mode, press shift mode and then 4. Now it's in radian mode. You can see there's R on the top screen of the calculator. Then type the integral, not the integral, just the function. What is given to us? Cosine 1 by x. Type it out and close the bracket here. Divided by x squared. Always calculate at a specific value. I always choose 2. And here we go. It's 0.219. Now make sure you derive all these options at x is equal to 2, and you must get the same value. So what you need to do is write this out here. At x is equal to 2, the value is 0.21939. Write 4 to 5 digits after the decimal point, and now let's do it. Shift dy by dx. What happens? Minus cosine 1 by x. Close the bracket. See, now here, very important to close the bracket. If you don't close the bracket and I just type x is equal to, you'll get syntax error. Here brackets are not closed. You're open twice, but only once it is closed. So you need to close it properly. No need of typing c, because c is a constant and derivative of any constant is 0. So here this is not the correct answer. So let's go next. Minus sine 1 by x plus c. Here this is the correct answer.
Now let me just go to the next one. Let me just change the sign here, minus to plus, the last option. See, it's not matching. It should match exactly even with the sign. But how do you put in this last option? If it was minus secant, how do you type this out? So that is, let me show you here. You need to type 1 divided by cosine, because secant is reciprocal function of what? 1 by cosine, isn't it? See, 1 by cosine. This would be the answer. But now it's not the correct one. This is the correct one. But if you are to type in secant, remember it's 1 by cosine. If it was cosecant, it's 1 by sine. Here we will solve all these problems. Here we have the correct answers itself, but in the exam you'll have 4 options. You need to choose all the 4 options and then match it up with the correct answer. The method is the same. Over here, first we'll put the question, that is 2 divided by 4 plus 4, and over here we have x squared. Then calculate this at 2, and here we go, it's 1 by 10, that means it's 0.1. So let's solve this up. Shift dy by dx, it's half, that is 0.5 or 1 by 2. Shift and tan gives you tan inverse x, and x value at 2, here we go, it's 0.1 or 1 by 10. Same thing here, it's 1 divided by the square root of 3 minus 2x minus x squared. That's it. Calculate this at 2. Now here we are getting a math error. Why? Because see, there is square root involved. You must be very careful when there's a square root involved. See, if the answer here is a negative answer, you will not get the answer. Why? Because it will be imagined numbers. See, now if I put 2, it will be 2 squared, that's 4. And over here it's minus 4. Again, there is minus 4 plus 3. It doesn't help us. I've told you not to choose 1. So in such cases, what you can do is choose 0.5. So here we're getting 2 root 7 by 7, that is 0.755. So it's very important to write it down at what x value. X is 0.5. Now here we don't take 2, because when we take 2, it'll be beyond the domain of sine inverse. Arc sine means sine inverse. So that cannot happen. 2 cannot happen. But 0.5, you will get an answer. The answer we got over here was 0.7559. Now let us solve this out. Shift dy by dx and sine inverse of x plus 1 divided by 2. Close the bracket over here. Now very important, without closing you will get a syntax error. Now let me try at 2. You will get error, math error. Why? Because 2 is not possible. Now let's try 0.5. It should work and it matches. That's how we can easily solve these problems. Now even over here you need to know the answer, need to know the options. Now this is the correct answer, but you will have 3 more wrong answers. Whichever doesn't match, you ignore and go to the next option. Let's do this one. It is x plus 1 divided by square root 3 minus 2x minus x squared, alpha and x squared, and we calculate this at, let's take it as 2. But now over here, if you take it as 2, it doesn't work again. Why? Because the square root over here again will be negative. So I'm just going to stick to 0.5 even over here. That's absolutely fine. And I'm going to get 1.13. Let me write it down. At x is equal to 0.5, I'm getting 1.1338. Now I need to try the correct answer. That is shift dy by dx, not just the symbol. It's shift and dy by dx. Here we go. It's minus square root 4 minus, open the bracket, x plus 1, close the bracket and square it up, and then you have x value of 2. No, it's not 2. Why? Because at 2 we got a math error at 0.5. My bad. This is the correct answer. You can see it's matching. So whatever x value you had chosen at the question, the same one must be used even for the derivative. Shift and dy by dx over here, same value must be assumed. Now here as well, you're looking at them and solve them up. That is going to be here. First, use the fraction symbol. 4 divided by 5 plus 2x plus x squared. Here we go. Calculated at
now I'm going to stick to 2. Why? Because over here you can see there is no square root or anything. I'm going to stick to 2. It's going to give me an answer. It's 0.307. Now I'll directly solve. I'll just keep it in my mind. I'm not going to write it down now. I'll solve this answer. Shift dy by dx 2 tan inverse. And we have over here x plus 1 divided by 2. Close the bracket here. And x value must be 2 here because we assume 2, and it is same thing, 0.307. Same thing with the next problem. It's 4x plus 4, and here we have 5 plus 2x plus x squared. Calculated at 2, because over here there is no square root or anything. You should get the answer at 0.923. Now similarly, let's do shift dy by dx. Now, very important to remember, after natural logarithm, your modulus symbol or absolute value, that is obtained by pressing shift and hyp. Now we get absolute value. If you have the latest model of the calculator, it's shift and one of these brackets and you will get this symbol. Now here it's 4 plus whatever is inside, write it as it is. X plus 1, close the bracket and square it up. Now remember, this is all modulus. Now going outside the modulus, close the bracket, because when we clicked on natural logarithm, automatically a bracket opened up. And now we closed it, and this was originally for the derivatives. That was the other bracket. X is how much? 2. Here we go, it is 0.923. That was the value which we had got. Here as well, we solve it the same way. Let's use a calculator. All you have to do is put in this function, that is 4t is given as x divided by 5 plus 2x plus x squared. Now calculate this at 2. You're getting 8 by 13 or 0.615. It's better to write this out. At x is equal to 2, you're getting a value of 0.61538. Now, do not write the fraction value, because when you do the derivative, you will never get fraction. You might get fraction, but generally you will get the decimal point. So let's do the derivation of what? The answer. Shift dy by dx. Now this is the correct answer. In your exam, you'll have 4 options. Choose all the 4 options and wait until you get this value, that is 0.615. So here 2, natural logarithm, and there is modulus symbol, that's the absolute value. So shift and hyp, then 4 plus, that is t is given as x plus 1, close the bracket and square it up. And now go away from the absolute value. But remember, this is a single term. When we click on natural logarithm, it opens up a bracket, so we need to close it. Minus 2 tan inverse is given by shift and tan here. And then put in the fractions x. So it's alpha and x. No, for some reason it was not working. Okay, x plus 1 divided by 2. And now close the bracket and then put in the value. What was the x value? It was 2. And it should match. It is matching 0.6138. You can try this by yourselves. The same way, here we have x plus 1 and divided by x squared plus 2x plus 4. And now we need to calculate it at 2. It's 1/4 or 0.25. So we need to put in this correct answer. I mean, all the 4 options, and the correct answer will give us 0.25. So it's half. That is 1 by 2 natural logarithm. See, the bracket opens up, but we want what exactly we need? Absolute value. That is shift and hyp. And now type in whatever is inside the modulus. That's absolute value. The 2 lines. Okay. So it'll be alpha x plus 1, close the bracket and square it up, plus 3. Now move away from the absolute value and then close the bracket. X value is 2. C value is not required because it'll be dissolved to 0. The derivation of any constant is 0. And this is the correct answer. We got 0.25. Here we have e to the power 3 minus 2x. And what x value do we calculate? 2. So you need to remember this. It's 0.3678. I just keep it in my mind, but in the exams, please do write it down. Now let me look into the options. This is the correct answer, but anyways, shift dy by dx and negative half, that is 1 by 2, sorry, 1 divided by 2, and then we write e to the power, it's 3 minus 2x. That's it. What is the x value? 2. Is it 0.36? Yes, absolutely, it's correct. Similarly, we can try this one. I will first check the answer and then I'll do the question because I know this is the correct answer. That's why I'm doing it anyways. It is minus 6x. So it is 6 and x. And here we have 6 and up above we have 3. This is the value. See, if it comes like this, please do write it down properly and make sure you write into 10 to the power minus 5. This is very important. Now, when I solve this up, 3 divided by e to the power 6x and calculate this at 2, so you can see it's 1.84. It's 10 to the power minus 5. Yes, absolutely correct. Similarly, we can do these problems as well. It'll be the same way, same method. I type in 4 divided by x power 1/3, or you can write it as cube root as well, it's up to you, times 1 plus x to the power 2/3. It's 2 divided by 3, and we will just close the bracket over here and calculate this at 2. When we calculate it at 2, it's 1.227. Now this entire answer must give us the same. See over here, this is the answer. It was done by u substitution, and then over here we get the answer. So shift dy by dx, 6 natural logarithm. Make sure you press shift and absolute value. Now 1 plus x squared, sorry, 1 plus x power 2, yeah, divided by 3. It's not this, it's the power that is divided. So I will just press x, and then this one over here is 2 by thirds. And we press next and make sure you close this bracket, because when we click on ln, by default a bracket opens up. It's at 2. It's 1.227. Yes, that was the value which we had. Same way we can try the others. Here it is 2 divided by x power, I'll write it as 0.25. 0.25 is 1/4, and then plus x, and calculate it at 2, and we get 0.627. Now looking at the answers, all the 4 options must be there, and now we need to solve this, and we need to get 0.627. So here we have 8 by 3 and natural logarithm of shift and hyp, and now we can write 1 plus x to the power 3/4, that is 0.75. And that's it. We need to go next of the absolute value, and then close the bracket, and then type in x is equal to 2, which it is 0.627. Similarly here as well, open the bracket up, the fraction symbol, sine square root x, close the bracket, press next and close the bracket. Now here down below it's just square root x, calculated at 2, the answer is 0.698. So the answer must give us that. But you need to press shift dy by dx, and also very important, it must be in radian mode, and it is in radian mode, so it's fine. We are getting the correct answers itself. It's minus 2 cosine square root x. Go next and then close the bracket up, and over here we have 2. Yes, that's correct. I'm just going to solve all these. You can just move ahead because it's the same way, same method. 1 by x, the next, and close the bracket. Over here we have x squared, calculated at 2, it's 0.219. Now the answer must give us that shift dy by dx minus sine 1 divided by alpha x, and then you need to close, because there are 2 open brackets, 2 closed brackets must be there, and yes, it's 0.219. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you, if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. In this question, we will use integration by parts to solve the problems. Here it is the electronic part. You have four options and you need to integrate it. So we can use the calculator and directly find the answers. Here we go. It's better to put in the radian mode. See, this doesn't matter because there's no cosine or sine. That's no trigonometric functions. But it's better to put in trigonometric mode. That's shift mode and 4. That's a radian mode, sorry. And now what you do is, whatever is beside next to the integral symbol, type it out. X, shift e to the power 2 and again x. Now calculate this at 2 and press equal to. The answer is 109.19. So you need to type at x is equal to 2. Write it down somewhere. This is equivalent to 109.196. So I need to solve all the options and see which gives me this answer. But I don't just put the options directly. You need to press shift dy by dx and now type it out. It's 1 by 2. Go next and shift e to the power 2x. And then press next minus half. That is 1 by 2 here. And then we have e to the power x. That is alpha x. And plus c is not required because derivation of a constant is 0. Please remember this x value which you chose. That is over here. We need to put the same one. X is 2. The answer is 50.9. It doesn't match. So let's move to the next one. Here it is 1 by x. So let's change this to x. And then what do we have? E to the power minus 2x. Oh, sorry, not equals to. It's minus 2x here. And it's 1/4, minus 1/4. E to the power minus 2x as well. Let's see whether this is the correct answer. No, it's absolutely wrong. So what about this one here? Half. And then we have x. Alpha x, e to the power plus 2x here. And then we have minus 1/4 e to the power plus 2x. Is it correct? Oh yes, absolutely. This is the correct answer. I'm not going to do the next one because it'll be something else. Only one correct answer can be there in options. How about this one here? It's x sine 4x. So all you need to do is alpha x sine 4x, close the bracket. Calculate this at 2. Now it's in radian mode, so whatever the answer I get, I can just write it out as it is. So it is 1.9787. Now we need to try all the four options. Let me try. Here it will be, see now it's 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. I'll stick to these three first because there's a high probability that this may not be the correct answer because it'll be similar to 1/4. And there's also, you can see the similarities and try to deduce some options. I'll try this, A, C, and D. If I won't get any answer, then I'll go to B. So now what I do is shift dy by dx. Let me type this out. Minus 1/4, that is 1 by 4. And then we have sine x, sorry, it's 4x. Okay, let me write 4 first. And then alpha x, close the bracket, plus 1 by 16. And then we have again cosine 4x and close the bracket. And what is the x value we are taken? 2. So is it matching? No, it's not. Let me try this because it's very, very similar. Just the minus sign goes off and then it's same here. And here it is 1 by 16. It is sine 4x. Sine 4x. Is it correct? No, it is not as well. Let's try the last one. Minus x sine, it is cosine here, 4x, and then we have 1 by 16 sine 4x. Let me check this. Oh yes, this is correct. So I'm not going to do the option B, but you can try the option B. It will not be the same one. So option D is the correct answer here. Similarly, you can solve all these problems. It'll be the same method, but over here we know the correct answer. Let's just use this correct answer and solve it up. So I'll show you. It's x cosine x, close the bracket, calculated at 2. Now I'm just going to write the answer because I might forget it, 0.83229, and try all the options, but here this is the correct answer, so I must get the same value. It is x sine, again sine x, close the bracket, plus cosine x. The x value is 2, and yes, that's the correct answer. Similarly, you can try all the options. Now we just did this just a minute ago. It's the same one. Now, what about this one here? We did this one as well. At the first option, we did this. So it's again simple. Let's try and do this. Alpha x natural logarithm x, close the bracket, calculated at 2. And here we go. The answer is 1.38629. Now, you don't need to write so many values, but I'm just writing, to get the accurate answer. Now, you need to look into all the options. Now, shift dy by dx, half of x squared, that is alpha x, and square it up, and then natural logarithm of x. Now here it's very important to write multiplication. Even without multiplication it's fine, but it's better to write the multiplication sign. This entire term minus 1/4, 1 by 4, x squared. That's it. X value is 2. And is it matching? Yes, it is. Of course it should match because that's the correct answer. You can see that. Now the same thing here as well. What I'll do is I'll just change the answer first because I know this is the correct answer. The question must match the answer. It's 1/3 x cubed natural logarithm x minus 1 by 9 x cubed here. So what is the answer I'm getting? It's 2.77. Now let me show you the answer. X squared natural logarithm x calculated at 2 will be 2.77. Yes, that's correct. Similarly, here we have natural logarithm x, close the bracket, and down as well, it's x, calculated at 2. You can directly press equal to because we have already chosen the calc as 2 value, but it's better to double check. Okay, it's 2, yes. Now it's 0.3465. Let me show you the same value. You will get it over here with this answer. You don't need to put plus c, just this part. Shift half 1 by 2, and then you have natural logarithm, open the bracket because it's squared up, so it's ln x, close the bracket twice because one is for the x and one is for natural logarithm, and then square it up. X value is 2, it should be 0.34, yes, 0.3465. This is the old value. Let me just delete that. This was the value we got it over here. But what about this one? I'm sure it's going to be the same thing. E to the power minus 3x and calculated at 2, it's 9.91. Let me write it. A into 10 to the power minus 3. This is very important because sometimes it'll vary in 10 to the power minus 5, 10 to the power minus 4. So let's write it out, and you can see this is a huge answer. So now what I'll do is shift dy by dx and type this entire thing. Minus 1/3 of x squared e to the power minus 3x, and then we have minus 2 by 9, and then x e to the power, that is shift and ln, again we have minus 3x, and then let's type in the last term minus 2 by 27, and what do we have is e to the power minus 3x, and then x is 2. We must get the same one. Yes, we are getting 9.91 in 10 to the power minus 3. And this last problem here, let us look into the answer first, because if it's okay, it's a small one. So I'll type this out first. If it was a huge one, I would just edit it over there. But now we will type the question first. Raised to the power x, again power 3, calculated at 2. The answer is 11,923.83. Now let's type this one out. Shift dy by dx. It's not integral, sorry, it's shift and this symbol. You should get d by dx. That's derivative. 1/3 of e to the power x raised to the power 3. The x value, see, if you press equal, you'll get an error, syntax error, because there's no x value considered. X is 2. And it is the same value. If you change the x value to anything other than 2, say for example 2.2, that's an error. You're not getting the same answer. It varies a lot. So please put the accurate x value, whatever you assumed in the question, same at the answer when you're deriving it, and it is matching. So this is the correct answer. In this question, we will integrate functions which have secant and tan raised to power something. Here we have been given cotangent x, cosecant power 4x. Now, since it's in the electronic part, you have 4 options. We can again use the calculator method. Let's take our calculator here. Make sure it is in the radian mode, that is shift mode and 4. If it's already in radian mode, you can just press shift mode and 4 will still be in the same radian mode itself. Now here, you need to put this, whatever is there. But there are few formulas to remember. Cotangent is equal to 1 by tangent x tan x. Now secant is equal to, secant x will be equal to 1 by cosine x. Cosecant x will be equal to 1 by sine x. Now, if we get any other forms, we will, I'll write it down then later on. But these are the most important things, and most of the problems can be solved with this. Now, how do you type this out? It's first 1 by tan x, that is tangent x, close the bracket, and then multiply it with, open the bracket, write 1 by sine, it's not cosine, it's sine x, close the bracket, then raise this entire thing to the power 4 because it is cosecant to the power 4. Now cosecant to the power 4 means we are raising this to the power 4, isn't it? That'll be 1 by sine power 4, that's it. You can just write down power 4 because 1 raised to power 4, it's 1 itself. But this is absolutely fine. Now calculate. Let's try 2. Here we are getting the value, well and good. If we are not getting, we are getting a math error, then just change the value. Just try a bit trial and error. Take 0.5 or something, you'll get the values. Now let's try all the 4 options with shift d by dx. Now here, you need to write these out separately. You do not need to write it separately, sorry. Now this, I'll show you the first one. How it'll happen is minus will be there. Write half multiplied by 1 by tan the whole square. Separately in the sense, separate terms, but not like, plus or minus. It's the same term together, but you're writing it one part, that is 1 by 2 separate, and then 1 by tan square. It's just right like this, half cot square x. Now if you had cotangent cannot be written, you need to write 1 by tan and then solve it up. So let me show you now, writing it. It's minus half, that's 1 by 2. Whenever I have denominators, I write them first and then multiply, open the bracket, it's 1 by tangent tan, it's 1 divided by tan x, close the bracket and square it up. And what do we do is, see, I'm sure it's going to be A, B, and D. So if I don't get the answer in A, B, I'm not going to do C. I'm just jumping to D. Okay, why? Because all are having cot. Now this first part is done. Minus, again, 1/4 because there is denominator. So 1 and 4 first, and then multiply it with, open the bracket. It is cotangent again. It's 1 by tangent, that is tangent directly, x, close the bracket, and then close it up and raise it to the power 4. Then what is the x value? It is 2, which we assumed. And it must be, okay, it is equal. This is the correct answer. I didn't know this was the correct answer. If we had got different values, we would have got something else and we had to try the next one. Here is the first answer itself. Now what about this one? Okay, this one is pretty simple. It's definite integral. So you have been given values. Let's press over here. You don't need to do shift dy by dx and all that. Why? Because you have been given the values of integrals. The limits are given. Now I'm going to write tan x raised to the power 4. Or you can write brackets and it's the same thing. And then multiply this with secant. Now what is secant? Open the bracket. 1 by cosine, x, close the bracket and close it up and raise it to the power 4. And now calculate this. Sorry, not calculate. Write the limits. 0 and it's pi by 4. Shift pi divided by 4. Let's see, the answer is 12 by it's the option D here. That's it. So easy, isn't it? This one, definite integrals are very, very easy. But if it's the it's the indefinite one without the limits. Now here, these ones you need to put a x value, whatever the question is given, and then derive the answers, and then you'll get the final answer. Let's try this out. Here the answers are given, but anyways, just type, what is this? Tan x multiplied by 1 divided by, see the brackets have not put in properly, 1 divided by secant is cosine x, close the bracket and raise it to the power 3. And now here calculate this at 2
I'm getting the answer, so I'm just going to write it out. It's 30.319. Next, let's press shift and d by dx and then solve this up. It's 1/3. Secant is given by, again, open the bracket, 1 by cosine x, close the bracket, close over here as well. The x bracket is closed, another bracket, and raise it to the power 3. And then what do we have? X is 2. Here we go. It should match. Same thing with others. I think so. We did the same one, is it? Anyways, we'll do this one as it's the same procedure. You keep on doing it, you should get the answers. Now, what I'm going to do is cotangent. I do not have cotangent, so it's 1 by tan. And then x, close the bracket. Over here it is cosecant. It's 1 by sine x, close the bracket and raise it to the power 4. This is it. Calculate it. Just be very, very careful with these values. Make sure you understand which is the correct reciprocal function. If it's cosecant, it's 1 by sine. If you put 1 by cosine, you'll get the completely wrong answer. So now once you've done this, calculate it at 2. It's minus 0.66944. We had done this, and when you derive this, you're going to get the same one. Yeah, I remember now. You have to do this 1 by 2 separately and then solve it up. You can check this out by yourself or just go back in the video. I've done it already. And what about these values? They look huge, but the answers would be the same thing here as well. So let me try the first one. First, type it out. X tan to the power 3. Now look here. Tan is not just x, it is x squared plus 1. So let's write out tan x squared plus 1, close the bracket and raise it to the power 3. And then multiply this with secant, open the bracket. It's 1 by sine or cosine x squared plus 1, close the bracket here. And then just close it. It's not raised to anything. Secant is just secant. So now double check it. X, you can put a multiplication sign. Oh, it's fine. Just the brackets. X. And this is tan x squared plus 1. Now look here. The brackets are missing. I've opened a bracket. I've not closed. So this is wrong. Now it's proper. Tan is raised to the power 3. And then over here, it's secant. So it's 1 by cosine x. Okay, this is all right. Let's calculate it at 2. What is the answer? It's minus 272. Minus 272.38. So now I need to put this entire answer and I must get the correct answer. It's a plus c. So over here, I'm not going to put plus c, only so much. Shift d by dx. It's 1/6. So 1 divided by 6. And I have secant. So I'll just write multiplication because I have to open the bracket. It is 1 divided by secant is given by cosine x squared plus 1, close the bracket. And now I'm raising this. Let me raise it outside itself. Close the bracket. Go next, close the bracket. Again, raise it to the power 3 because it was secant to the power 3. Minus half, that is 1 by 2. And over here we have multiplied by secant is given by 1 by cosine. And then we have x squared plus 1. Close the bracket. It's just close over here. And then the x value to be taken at 2. We are getting exact same value. You must get the exact same value. You will get it. Same way. Please do try this. It's just the repetitive process. Try putting this entire thing. And then this answer. The answer is very simple here. 1 by 6 secant cube. Just like how we have done over here. You will get the correct answer. You can match the answers. Now, what about this one? Again, here, all you need to remember is cotangent. I'm just going to write the formulas. And please do try it by yourselves because you will get the answer. Cotangent is 1 by tan. And you need to put tan x the whole squared. And over here, it'll be multiplied 1 by sine x the whole power 4. Put this much in the calculator. And over here, what you need to do is, it'll be d by dx. Over here, at x is equal to 2. Same thing, it'll be minus 1/3. And now multiply this with, what is cotangent? It's 1 by tan x. And then put the entire thing, power 3. It will be brackets over here as well.
and then it'll be minus 1/5 multiplied by 1 by tan x, close the bracket and raise it to the power 5. And this entire thing is x is equal to 2 because we assume it 2. So that's how we solve this, and you can try all the other problems. You will definitely get it because I've checked it by myself. Almost all the problems you will get the correct answers. So in the calculator method, it's very simple. And but what happens with these integrals? These are very easy. All you need to do is integral. Now I'll do the second one because we did the first one already. So tan, now here I'll just write tan x, close the bracket and raise it to the power 4. That will raise the entire thing to the power 4 because it's outside the bracket. But if at all I raise it over here, then it's only x power 2. So don't do that mistake. After this bracket, raise it to the power 4. And then secant, you need to put the brackets 1 by cosine x. Close the bracket, it's cosine x alpha and this symbol. And then close one more bracket and raise it to the power 2. And now write the limits. It is pi, that is shift pi, shift and this symbol here by 4. Even the upper limit is pi by 4, but it's positive. Shift and pi. And then we have 4. And here we go. The answer is 2 by 5. The first one is 12 by 35. We have done this at the beginning, and this is 2 by 5. And these ones here, in fact, there are tricks you can use. Say this is cosine square x plus sine square x. What is the value here? It's 1. So it's integration of 1 dx. That's just x plus c. Don't forget the plus c. Or you can just use the calculator and do it. Let me show you in the calculator. What happens is you just have to put cosine x, close the bracket, square it up, plus sine x, square it up. And calculate it at 2 or anything, the answer will be 1. Let me change this to 5, it's going to be 1. Let me change this to say 0.5, it's going to be 1. So calculate it at anything, the answer will be 1. So, but now you will not have 1 as the options, you will have x. Now let's do this, shift d by dx. You know 1 is only possible when you have x, isn't it? So it's 1. Or you change this any value because integrate derivation of anything at any value, it's going to be 1. So because derivation of x is just 1. So that's how we can easily get the answer. And over here, you need to solve it. Do not, it's not simple identities. It's all these identities. You take it as double angle identity and all that. But you can just verify this answer in the calculator. Let me show you. It is cosine x, close the bracket, and then square it up, multiplied by sine x, close the bracket and square it up. I had opened a bracket, so I'm just going to close it. It's fine. And calculate it at 2. It's 0.14. So 14318. And now let me derive this answer. Shift d by dx, 1 by 8x minus 1 by 32. Okay, not calc, my bad. Okay, here, let me go back here. It's 1 divided by 32 sine 4x. And what do we have is 2. So it should match. Yes, it is matching. Similarly, this one will be very simple and easy because it's definite integral. All you do is press this out, square root cosine x, multiply, close the bracket, go next and now press multiplication because you need to go outside the square root. And now sine, sorry, this is only sine x, close the bracket, and then raise it to the power 3. Here the limits are minus pi by 3. First lower limit, upper limit is 0. And the answer is, see, now here you get fractions. See, it's not just fraction, it's a huge whole big number, right? Let's write minus 0.1705. And now you will have 4 options, isn't it? Let's solve all of them. I'll directly solve the correct answer here. 25 divided by 168 square root 2 minus 8 divided by 21. It must give me this value, and yes, that is the correct one, 0.17050. Now this problem seems to be very, very simple, isn't it? Because it's
pi by 4, pi by 2, it's definite integral. All you need to do is just put this in the calculator. Let's try this. I will type an integral. Over here is cotangent. That'll be 1 by tan. That's 1 divided by tan x, close the bracket, and then square it up over here. Multiplied by cosecant is 1 by sine x, close the bracket, and then just go over here, raised to the power 4. See, it will work even without the brackets, but it's just better to put the brackets, so you'll understand what's going on exactly. So then what do we have is the lower limit is pi by 4. Absolutely fine, there's no issues with that. But what about pi by 2? If you remember, will I get the answer here if I put pi by 2 for tan? See, pi by 2 exists for cotangent, but it does not exist for tan because we're using 1 by tan. It'll be a math error. Why? Because it's an asymptote for tan pi by 2. Now it's tan x, right? There'll be pi by 2 involved. This will not give me the correct answer. So what should I do here is, let us go very close to pi by 2 but not pi by 2. Whenever you have definite integral, see, it doesn't work, it'll work properly otherwise with the other method which we do using shift d by dx. We assume x value of 2, right? That is fine. Why? Because we assume a value of 2, which will give us a value. But now the problem is pi by 2 is undefined in the domain of tan. So here I can do one thing, that is multiply pi by 2 by 0.999. And now look here, the answer is 0.533. You can see the answer should be that 8 by 15. Yeah, it's nearly 0.5. You can just increase these zeros here. Sorry, 9, 0.99. Let a couple more. And you'll get 8 by 15. So that is the correct answer. So here what happened is, remember, tangent is, cotangent is 1 by tan, but tan pi by 4 exists. Let me show you. Shift and pi here by 4. This exists. It's 1. Tan 45 degree. But what about tan 90 degree? It's an asymptote over there. It's a math error. Therefore, we were not getting the answer when we took the limits pi by 4 and pi by 2. So in such cases, you should remember this pi by 2, right? Multiplied with 0.9999. So you're not going at the asymptote, but very close to it. So you'll get the exact answer. That's how we can solve this problem. In this question, we will integrate trigonometric functions. Here we have been asked to integrate x squared by square root x squared minus 1. Now, though there's no trigonometric involved, in the other problems we will have trigonometric functions. Now, this can be solved easily in calculator method because we have 4 options here. In the calculator, put this term, the function, without the integral symbol, directly the function, that is x squared divided by square root. Again, we have x squared minus 9. Now what you need to do is calculate this at any specified value. Now I always choose 2, so just stick with 2. Now here you're getting a math error. Why is this? Now whenever you get a math error, look into the equation. Here if I put 2 squared, it's going to be 4 minus 9, which is not true. Why? Because it'll be an imaginary number, isn't it? So in this case, I cannot choose 2. Because square root of 2 squared minus 9 will be wrong. Now you can choose 3, but then what happens is it'll be 0. 3 squared minus 9 will be 0. You will get some answer. But the best reasonable value would be 4 or anything more than that. So in such cases, when you have square root, please look over here. Look at the value you're choosing. 2 squared, no, it's not possible. I'll go with 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. 16 minus 9, yes, it will be a positive value. And it's more than 1. So then I will choose that value. So here I'm going to choose calculate at 4. And look at what is the answer. It is 6.04. So now let me write at 4. X is equal to 4. Remember this. We are getting, this is the answer. That is 6.047. Now, what do we do over here? Now, we'll put all the options here. Let's derive them and use the x value of 4. Let's try with the first one. Here we have fraction x multiplied by square root x square minus, sorry, it's plus 9. Divided by 4. Now, I know this may not be the correct answer because you're using minus 9. That should be the term, when we do the substitution. But anyways, let me put it in. Here 4 It's ln. That's over here, the symbol ln. And now look here, it's modulus. So make sure you press shift and hyp, that's hyperbolic. But when you press shift and this, you'll get absolute value. Now type in the remaining, whatever is inside the absolute value. That's x plus square root x squared plus 9 divided by 3. And here we go. It's plus c, so ignore that. And now at 4, we're getting, okay, a syntax error. Now don't think this is math error. Syntax error means I've forgotten a bracket or something somewhere. See here, I have not closed the bracket. After this, ln it opened, right? After this, I have to close the bracket. Now it's proper because this is the original bracket of the function itself, derivative function. And then for ln, there was one more bracket. Now I must get the answer, but it doesn't match. Now let me go to the next one. It's x over here, x squared minus 9 divided by 2. And then we have plus 9 by 2. Okay, now I did a huge mistake. Anyways, let me use this multiplication because I'm just editing this one over here. So 9 by 2 multiplied ln. Now let me see here, there is x squared, it should be minus, and down over here is 3. That's all right. So let us choose the value. X is 4. Let me see. And yes, this is the correct answer. So I'm not going to go further, but you can try these values and you will get some different answer. So why is this correct? Because initially we put in the question and we got, when we put the x value of 4 in the question, we got 6.047. And now whichever gives us the same answer when we derive it at the same x value will be the correct answer. What about this one here? This is pretty simple. It's definite integral, isn't it? Use this symbol directly because the limits are given. Now it's x squared, that's alpha x, and square it up. Then we have square root x squared plus 9. And then we have over here 0 to 2. The answer is 8.99. It's very easy to remember. But now which is the correct answer? I have no idea. Let's solve them all. Let us try with the first one, 17 root 3. See, now when I'm root 13 here, when I usually try, look into the similarities. I can see these both are similar. So I think it's either this or this. And then I would try this or this, the other ones. So it is 17 root 13 divided by 4 minus 81 divided by 3, 8. Sorry, there's 8. Natural logarithm modulus is given by shift and hyp. Modulus means absolute value. It's both the same thing. Over here, it's 2 plus square root 13 divided by 3. And now you need to close the bracket. And here we go. The answer is, yes, this is the correct answer. Why? Because we got 8.99399. But what if I change this to the second option, plus? See, it's not the same answer. It's different. So option A is the correct answer. Similarly, we can solve all these problems. Here you will have the correct answer. You have the correct answer. But in the exam, remember, you will have 4 options. You need to try it for all the options. Let's try this one out. It is 4 minus x squared, and then we have the limits from 0 to 2, and it's given as, see, now it's in radian mode, so my calculator is already in radian mode. If it is not, you need to press shift mode and then 4. It takes some time. See, pi is 3.14159, so I directly got the value. And one more thing, it'll take some time. It might take 30 seconds, more than that as well, so be patient with this. Here as well, we have the limits. It's x divided by square root 4 minus x squared. And then what do we have is, it's 0 to 1. And here we go. It's 0.26, but I'm sure the answer won't be like this. It is over here 2 minus root 3. Let's try that. 2 minus root 3 is 0.267. Yes. Now what about this one? Here we can't directly put it. Now let's look into the final answer. It's a huge method, and you can see this is the answer. In fact, we just did this a while ago. I hope you remember. So we have to put this directly with the x value. You can't take x of 2. You should take x of 4, and then derive this at x is equal to 4. You will get the correct answer. Same one. Let me go to this one. Let me show you this one. Here we have 1 by, this is the answer, but first let's put in the question. That's x power 3, and then that is multiplied with square root x squared minus 1. And what is the answer? It is, see, this value is 247. Now, what is the calc value I've chosen? It's 4. How about I'll go back to 2? It'll work because 2 squared is 4 minus 1. That'll work. So I'll just select the the calculating value at 2. So the answer over here is 8 root 3, but we don't get the values in 8 root 3. We'll get in 13.85. So at x is equal to 2, we have got 13.856. Now let's derive this answer and check whether it matches. Shift d by dx. Here, what do we have? It should be 1/5. And here, open the bracket, it's x squared minus 1. Close the bracket. Power 5 by 2 is 2.5, or you can write it as 5 by 2 itself. And then add this up with 1/3, 1 by 3. And then we have x squared minus 1, close the bracket, to the power 3 divided by 2. And the x value is 2 here, because we assumed 2 initially. And the answer matches. Yes, it's 13.85. What about this one? Again, it's the same thing. I'll do all of these problems, but you can just pause the video, try it by yourself, and then check the answers. Here we have square root x squared minus 4 calculated at 2. Now it's a math error. Why? Because over here, see, 2 squared is 4. You will have a square root 0, and it's 0, anything divided by 0, it's undefined, So we need to change the calculating value. I'll make it 3. Why? Because 3 is greater than 4 over here, then it's fine. So now I'll write it down. At x is equal to 3, the value I got is 0.8944. And now let me try it with all these solutions. So this is the solution here. Shift d by dx to natural logarithm. We have to use absolute value, that's shift and hyp. That's x plus square root, sorry, it's not square, my bad. It should be x squared. No, x, I only got confused here. See, let's look into this. It's x plus square root x squared minus 4. That is it. And then you can press next. After the absolute value symbol, close the bracket, because bracket will be open when you press ln. And the value over here is not 2. If you press 2, this is wrong. Why? Because it will give a math error, isn't it? It's 3 here. Now it should match with 0.8944. Yes, it matches. Only one correct answer will match. This is similar to the previous one. You can try this by yourselves as well over here. So let's put in this here, the question, x divided by square root of x squared minus 4. And then calculate it at, now don't take 2 again. Here you'll get an error. Let's take it as 3 itself. And you get 1.341. 1.3416. And now let's put in the answer, that is shift d by dx square root x squared minus 4. And the x value, it cannot be 2, it should be 3 itself. Yes, it matches. Therefore, this is the correct answer. In this problem as well, we can directly solve it using calculator. Please note that the solution said answer was erroneous. This is the correct answer when you solve using integral, all these methods. You can use any methods, but this will be the correct answer. But we will now use the shortcut and verify whether this is the correct answer. First thing, we need to put this in the calculator, that is square root 4x squared minus 9 divided by x. Now calculate this at 2. It will work at 2. Why? Because over here it's 4 times x squared. That is 4 times 4, 16, which is greater than minus 9. So I'm going to use 2 itself. It is 1.322. Let me write it out. At x is equal to 2, I'm getting the answer of 1.32287. Now what I do is I put this answer here, shift d by dx. Very important thing to remember here. When you have secant inverse x, you can't put 1 by cos inverse.
This is equivalent to cos inverse 1 by x. If you have cosecant, that is CSC, inverse x, that is 1 by sine, but you write it as sine inverse, only the x is written as 1 by x. This is very important to remember. Now here, the first part is pretty easy. 4x squared minus 9, done. Press next. Let's put minus 3. Now we have secant, secant inverse. Don't put 1 by, it's directly cosine inverse. Now we write 1 by. But look at this. Here it's 2x by 3. So what happens is 1 divided by 2x by 3, which is equal to 3 by 2x. If you have numerator and denominator, just swap them. See, if it was, say, x by 2, then what I would write is, instead of writing 1 by x, it'll be 2 by x. It swaps. So now here we have 3 that is in the denominator comes to the numerator, and then we write 2x and close the bracket and press next and then close the bracket, and that's it. Calculated at what value? It should be 2 itself, and it is 1.32287. Yes, that's the correct answer. So this is how we can find the correct answers using calculator without any steps whatsoever. Even this problem can be solved similar way. Let's solve it up. It's square root x squared minus 4 divided by x squared. Now calculate this. Now you can't use 2. Why? Because it'll be 0. So use something more than that. 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 4. So let's use 2 here. It'll be 0. That's not accurate enough. So what we'll do is we'll take 3 here, and now we get the value that is 0.2484. So let me write it over here, 0.2484. Now let's look into the answer. Where is the final answer? This is the final answer, right? Let's derive this. Shift d by dx, ln. Modulus is by shift and hyp. Type everything as it is. It's x by 2. And then we have plus tan, that is just tan. Then we have secant. So secant inverse, it's cosine inverse. Then what do we do is 2 by x instead of x by 2, because from secant to convert to cosine, this is how we put in the calculator. Now let's close this bracket, and then we need to close the tan bracket as well. Cosine inverse is closed, tan is also closed, and now we have to type in minus the sine. Again, it's secant, that is cosine inverse 2 by x. Press next and close the bracket twice, and there you go. And what was the value which we initially assumed? It was not 2, it was 3. Okay, now there's syntax error. That means I have not closed something. You can see there's one bracket open. This is what I have not closed. I've closed 2 brackets, and this is the bracket which was missing. Okay, again, there's syntax error. Let me just check it out. Open the bracket. Okay, this is done. Now, what did I do wrong is I have written everything inside the modulus. Now, this is a very big blunder. I'm not going to edit this part. Let it be here, because in the exam, if you do this, you'll get wrong. See, I'm getting syntax errors. That means something wrong with my brackets or something like that. Now, this modulus opened up. That modulus means absolute value. I had to stop the absolute value where? Here. But I went on writing even the minus, which is a big mistake. So I need to delete all this. See, this is all deleted now. Let me delete it off. Now, after the modulus, you need to close a bracket. Okay, let me, instead of closing, I open many brackets. Let me look at this properly now. Open bracket. Modulus is there, then there is 1, 2, 2 inside the brackets. Yes, absolute value, then closed. Okay, now here I need to put minus sine. Secant is cosine inverse, and then we have x. It's not x by 2, it is 2 by x. And then close the bracket over here, and x value is 3. Now again, I have missed a bracket. What is the bracket? I've missed so many brackets now. Here, okay, the main thing is I have opened a bracket for cosine. That must be closed as well. See, this close, and which is the last bracket exactly? That is the one which we initially open up. See over here, one is already there. Now this will give us the answer. Yes, that's correct. But look at just now. If you rewind a couple of minutes ago, you can see there were so many syntax error. Why? Because there are so many brackets. It's not difficult. It is fine. It is easy in your physical calculator. Over here, it's a bit hard, but you need to be very careful with the brackets. When you open up ln, remember after the modulus, you need to close one bracket. Yes, it's closed. And then how many other brackets you open up, close that. And then over here, sine, cosine is over here, cosine inverse and sine both have brackets, so two brackets are closed. And which is the last one? That was initially which is there when you press shift d by dx. So now all are there, and that is the correct answer. Please be careful in your exams not to do the mistake which I just did. Open and close the brackets properly. It's x squared divided by square root 9 plus x squared. And what is the calc value? Since it's plus, I can just use 2. I can literally use anything. You will get an answer. Why? Because it's 9 plus. But when it is minus, you need to be a little bit careful. So here we are getting 1.109. I've used the x value of 2 now. Let's look into the final answer here. Now this is the final answer. Let me put shift d by dx fraction x, then we have square root 9 plus, I have not written the square root over here, I've put squared by mistake. Now it's x and then square root 9 plus x squared. Here we go. And that is divided by 2. And then we have minus 9 by 2. And then use ln and then the modulus, that's absolute value. Call it modulus because it's the same thing. X plus square root 9 plus x squared divided by 3, and then close the bracket properly. And now x value was 2. It must match, and yes, it is matching. Here as well, we can use the calculator method and solve it directly. But please note the solution set had the wrong answer. This is the correct answer when you integrate this. So let's put this value here, x to the power 3, that is raised to the power 3. And then we have square root 8 plus x squared. And let's calculate it at 2 because over here the powers, it's 8 plus x squared. Doesn't matter, you can use any number here. Let's stick to 2, it's 27, that is equivalent to 27.7128. Now we will have to derive all the options, but here this is the correct answer, so we must get this value. Let's try it. It'll be 1/5, 1 by 5 times, open the bracket, 8 plus x squared, and then close the bracket and raise it to the power 5 by 2, which is 2.5. You can write 5 by 2 itself, minus 8 by 3 times 8 plus x squared, close the bracket, raise it to the power 3 by 2, which is 1.5. And we will have to close the bracket. No, we don't have to because we didn't open any bracket. Sorry, it's 2. Let me just check. Anyways, if you have missed a bracket, they'll give us syntax error. And the answer is correct. It's 27.7128. Similarly, please do try the other problems here by yourselves. Now let's do this one. This is also pretty simple. I'll just change it out over here itself. It's 1 by 2x, that is alpha x here. And then we have 18 square root. So what I'll do is instead of square root, I'll take the power half. 16 plus x squared power 1 by 2 is basically square root itself. Then what do we have here? Okay, let me just delete this because it'll just be complicated. And here we have 8 times, it's plus 8 times ln, then shift absolute value. 1/4 is 0.25, or you can write 1/4 multiplied with the square root of 16 plus x squared. And then what do we do is plus x divided by 4. And now you need to close the bracket after the absolute value, and let's take it at 2 itself. Here we go. The answer here is 4.47. Let me write it out over here. 4.47. You must get that same value here as well. Let us do it. 16 plus x squared calculated at 2. It is 4.472. Yes, that's the correct answer. Similarly, you can try the other ones as well. It is 1 divided by square root 4 plus x squared. Here we go, calculated at 2. The answer is 0.35355. I'll just keep it in my mind and I'll solve this solution here. It is shift d by dx ln. Let's open the fraction. But before that, you need to use shift and hyp to get absolute value. Then use the fraction x plus square root 4 plus x squared divided by 2. This must give us 0.3535. Let's close the bracket at 2. Yes, it is correct. And what about this one here? We have a numerical value. You can see this is a numerical value. Now we just put this integral x multiplied by square root x squared plus 8. And then we have here 0 and 1. The value is 1.457, but if I solve this up, let me show you, it should be 1.457. That is 16 square root 2 divided by 3. And you can see it's 1.4575. Now, here as well, you can see it's a huge way to solve it up, but the final answer will be over here. In fact, we did this at the beginning. Do you remember this? Let me just show you. X squared into square root of x squared plus 9 from the limits 0 to 2. It gave us something 8.99. Yes, I did it at the MCQ part. We had 4 options. We're solving all of them. It's 8.99, but this is the correct answer. Let me show it over here. It'll be 17 root 13. It's all numerical values now. Divide by 4 minus 81. Let me use this. Divide by 8. Natural logarithm, shift and hyp. Okay, now I pressed hyp only. Therefore, I got this hyperbolic. But you press shift and hyp, and then you get the modulus. 2 by 3, but it's 2 plus here square root 13. And then go next and now close the bracket after the absolute value. Here it's 8.99, so this is the correct answer. Next problems as well, we can solve it in the same way, but now here you can see there is secant to the power 3. How we solve this is, now let me first put this given question, that is x power 3 divided by square root 1 plus x squared. That is going to be 3.577. I'll just write it out over here, 3.577 at x is equal to 2. Now here, when we press shift d by dx, we can't directly write this. Whenever we have secant to the power or anything, write the fractions first. It's 1 by 3. I've written the fraction, that 3 outside, done. Multiply it with what? It is secant, so it'll be 1 by cosine. But if it was secant inverse, then I should have written cos inverse. But here it's secant only, secant to the power 3. The power we'll deal with it later, but let's write 1 by cosine. And what is inside it? Tan inverse. That shift tan inverse. Shift and tan gives us tan inverse. X, close the bracket, and then for cosine also we open the bracket, close it up, and then 1 by closed, bracket is closed. And raise this to the power 3 because we have secant to the power 3. That means the entire thing is raised to the power 3. Now minus, again we have secant, that is 1 by cosine. And what is it? Tan inverse, that is shift and tan, not alpha and tan. Shift and tan x, close the brackets up over here. And there we go, x value is how much? It's 2. Now syntax error means I have not closed or opened the bracket properly. Let me see this. Here I have not closed the bracket. You see there's one bracket originally for d by dx. That is always at the end. I had not closed it. Now I've closed it properly. You can see it's 3.577. That's how we can solve it up. Let's even look into this one. Here as well it is secant, isn't it? Now same method, but first let's put in the question. The question is x plus 1 divided by square root 4 plus x squared. That is alpha x, sorry, it's shift and alpha and x squared. Calculated at 2. the value is 1.060. 1.06066. Now I need to derive this up. Shift and dy by dx. Let me write 2 multiplied by, what is secant? It's 1 by cosine. And then we have tan inverse. It is tan inverse. Shift and tan. And then put in x divided by 2. Close the bracket twice, because one for cosine, one for tan inverse, and then press next and close the bracket. Now there's no power, so just leave it like that. Plus natural logarithm of what exactly? Here, absolute value first. Shift and hyp of secant. That means, again, we need to use 1 divided by secant, that is cosine, 1 by cosine, tan inverse x divided by 2. Now we have to close the bracket twice. And I've not opened one more bracket over here. It was absolute value, isn't it? Just write plus x by 2. That is alpha x divided by 2. And then now go out of the absolute value and then close the bracket. And here we go. X value was 2. And that's the same answer, 1.06066. So this is how we can solve any problem, literally any problem of integration, but you need to have the 4 options, then you can use the calculator and solve it easily. Before moving ahead, a quick reminder and a humble request. Please do share my channel and my videos with your friends and to whoever that can benefit from it. And I also kindly ask you, if you can hit the subscribe button and like my videos, it would mean a lot. In this question, we will learn about differential equations. The general form of the differential equations is given as y of t, or you can take it as x, because generally it's either t or x, and ae to the power kt. Now remember, if it is in terms of x, then it's going to be y of x is equal to ae kx. So I generally use it as x rather than t, because I used derivative of y as dy by dx. Anyways, I'll solve a problem here. In the EoT, they have clearly mentioned this form as y, derivative of y equals ky. So this is very simple problems. Why? Because, see, it's just like this. You know the formula is y is equal to a e to the power kx, or t, anything. What is a? A is the initial value. What is the initial value here? It's minus 6. A is the initial. That's the constant. Minus 6 e to the power. What is the k? K is the slope. Slope before the y value is minus 2x. That's it. This is the answer. You're supposed to get only such problems in the EoT because they have mentioned it. But we'll see some difficult problems as well. But before we head on, I'll just show you how exactly we solve these differential equations. So the answer is D here. Let's see the detailed method, because there are two problems or so where you need to do the detailed method. So first, let's see what is the differential equation given. Y derivative is equal to minus 2y. That's given to us. Now, we know y derivative is dy by dx. If you're taking with respect to t, it will be dy by dt. That is equal to minus 2y. So let's see here. Let me take this dx to the other side and y over here. So when I bring it y, it'll be 1 by y, and dy remains, because I'll take the dx to the other side, be minus 2 dx. Now both are having dy dx, so I can integrate. If I integrate both the sides, say integration on both the sides will be with respect to y here and with respect to x here. What's the integration of 1 by y? It will be natural logarithm of y equals, here it will be minus 2. There is nothing, so x will be added plus c. So this is the answer. Now here we don't want natural logarithm y, we want only y. So what we can do is we can take exponential on both the sides. So if you take exponential, it'll cancel with natural logarithm. So I'll directly write it as, no, I'm not going to write e, because e and ln is inverse, so it'll be just y. And here we will have e to the power minus 2x plus c. We have to take this entire thing to the exponent. Why I'm taking only positive? Because exponential will be only positive, right? Positive side of the thing. So you can ignore this, modulus. Now, y equals e to the power minus 2x multiplied. See, this plus imagine you have e to the power a plus e to the plus b. You can write it as e power a multiplied by e power b. Or if you want to simplify this together, the powers, you add the powers up if the bases are same, right? So I'm just writing this multiplied by e to the power c. Now this e to the power c, we'll write it as constant function a. So y is equal to a e to the power minus 2x. So this is how we get it. Now initially we had minus 2, and since it's just y, it will be minus 2 directly as well. You can try with any other number, it's going to be the same thing. Now what is this a value? They have given us the initial value to work with, isn't it? So what is this? Y of x is equal to a e to the power minus 2x. Now what if I put this as 0, x as 0? This will become y of 0, that is equal to a e to the power minus 2 times 0. What is y of 0? It's minus 6, isn't it? So minus 6 will be equal a. What is anything raised to the power 0? It's e to the power 0, so it will be multiplied by 1. Therefore, minus 6 is equal to a. That is going to be a value. Now you can substitute it over here. It's going to be y is equal to minus 6 e to the power minus 2x. So this is how we actually get the value. But when it is just the simple form given over here, we can directly take the initial value given to us as a. A is minus 6. Now what is this? The k value is minus 2. So we write it in the form y is equal to aekx, isn't it? So what we write over here is y equals minus 6 e to the power minus 2x. I hope that's clear. Now, if in your exam it's every way t given to you, then just remember, write t instead of x. So option D is the correct answer. Now you might be thinking, okay, so easy to do it. Why did I do the method? You will see here this problem. Now this is not so easy. Here you need to do the steps, because otherwise, and there is one more extra part which I'm not going to go in detail because it's the MCQs, but I'll just tell you there's a integration factor we need to involve in this. But anyways, what's the given question for us? So y derivative is equal to minus 0.1 y minus 10. Let's do the initial value later, but for now we will just look into the given. Look here, we need to group the y's together. So it's minus 0.1 y and minus 10. So let me just move this to the other side. So it's going to be y prime plus 0.1 y equals minus 10. I just moved it over here. Now then, what else can I do? Now I can't do much over here. There is something called integration factor which I need to involve. Why? Because over here, look at this. It's not like you can derive it, right? Because I can't integrate both the sides. I don't have dx, and it's very, very complicated now. So we involve something called an integration factor. I'll write it over here. Integrating factor. So now the formula for that is very simple. It's generally given as nu x. So this is equal to exponential, it's integral of p of x dx. Now what is this? But instead of all this, just remember that this integration factor is a factor which is used to multiply throughout to simplify that. I'm not going in detail, but actually we multiply that so that we can get this, we can integrate it, or you can reduce it. Okay, but just remember this is the actual writing, actual method. But over here, just remember this e. What is this p of x? P of x is basically the slope here. What is the slope here? See, now it's not minus 0.1. The slope which we have is over here after we move it to the other side, y dash and y. Here the slope of y is 0.1. So we write over here 0.1 x. Sorry, integration of 0.1 dx. This is the thing. P of x is 0.1. Now let us integrate 0.1. What happens? This is going to be e to the power 0.1x. That's it. So this is the integrating factor which we'll multiply throughout this term. See, we'll do y dash e to the power 0.1x plus 0.1y e to the power 0.1x equals minus 10 times e to the power 0.1x. I hope this is clear. You just multiply this integrating factor throughout. Now you don't need to write all this. Just remember integrating factor for any of such problems. If you have another problem like this, whatever is the the slope here, that is integrated. Okay, over here that px is there, right? That's 0.1. Imagine over here it was 2, then it would be 2 dx. Then you solve it up, integrated, just multiply x, because integration of a constant. What is integration of, say, 2? This is 2x, isn't it? Same way, 0.1, 0.1x. Now I have to write this out. Now I have to multiply this throughout the above equation. Now then, if you look carefully, this this is basically derivative with respect. I can take this as d by dx of, say, y and e to the power 0.1 x. I'll tell you now, it's easier to understand now. Imagine I put derivation over here. If I do product rule, what happens if I do product rule? I get the above. Why? Because if I use the product rule, this is the expansion. That's why we are using the integration factors, so we get in terms of the product rule. Now then, we can simplify it further, jumping one step back. Now after this, we are getting this. If we had used the product rule, we get the above equation. See, they are related. Now here, there's nothing. Let's keep it as it is. There's nothing much we can do over here. So now what I'll do is I'll take this dx to the other side. So basically, I can integrate this. Now if I integrate on both the sides, this d goes over here. So you're remaining with only y e to the power 0.1x. And over here, this dx to the other side, we can integrate this part, because this dx will be multiplied here, and integration of that would be, this is a constant term, so it'll be minus 10 outside. But what is the integration of e to the power 0.1x? Integration of e is same, so we'll just write e to the power 0.1 x itself. But here we have this coefficient for x that will be divided by, right? It's going to be divided by 0.1. If you have minus, what do? We add a minus sign. If you have anything over here, the coefficient of x is written down. So this entire thing will be added to c. Now what is minus 10 divided by 0.1? So it's basically move one thing to the other side. You should add a 0 over here. It's minus 100. So here what we get is y e to the power 0.1x is equal to negative 100 e to the power 0.1x plus c. So this is the simplified version. But now we can see this e to the power 0.1, e to the power 0.1. But this constant term doesn't have it. So what we can do is, we can multiply by the inverse of this. In the sense, let's divide, not multiply, it's basically divide by this e to the power 0.1. What is 1 divided by 0.1 e to the power x? E to the power 0.1x, sorry. This is equal to e to the power minus 0.1x. So we can multiply this throughout the three terms, and then we can simplify much further. I'll show you over here. Let me take it up over here. So it's going to be, when I multiply this or divide this terms, both the sides, this cancels off. Only thing that remains is y equals minus 100. Then you will have plus c e to the power 0.1, but this is minus. Why? Because I have to divide it, right? When we bring it up to the numerator, it'll be minus this one. So instead of writing in the denominator, I'm just writing it up. Now then, this is the standard form. This is the form, but this is not what they want. They have given us the initial conditions. So let's substitute this. What if it's at initially 0? So if this is 0, this is gone. It's 1. And over here we have at is equal to minus 100. That is plus c. Why? Because this is entirely, x is 0 means e to the power 0 is 1. So I'm just writing c. Now take this minus 100 to the other side. Let's be plus 100. It'll be 180 equals c. So c is 180. And what is the y value? See over here we have it, right? This is the answer. Y is equal to minus 100 plus c is 180 e to the power minus 0.1x. Let's see, where is this? It's option B, isn't it? Why? Because they have written this first, 180 e to the power minus 0.1x minus 100. So that is the correct answer, option B. Here we go. I hope this is clear. It's a long method. I hope this won't come for the exam, because in the EOT they have clearly mentioned it's a simple form. If it's simple, it's very, very straightforward. But if it's the detailed method, this is the correct answer. Let us do a few more problems. Here, you don't need to do anything. Why? Because it's a simple 4x. So just remember the formula. Y is equal to AEKX. Now, I write in terms of x rather than t. In your textbook, sometimes you might see t. It depends on the options, whatever is given to you. Now, y is equal to a is the initial condition 2 e to the power 4x. That's it. So here we go. That's the answer. You can see. Now here also it's written in terms of t, but this is the. Now what about this one? I'll just write it out over here itself, and it'll be y equals minus 2 e to the power 3 t or x. Because this is the initial a value minus 2 and k value is 3. Same thing, you can try these by yourselves. It is 5 e to the power minus 3x or t. And it's minus 6 and k value is minus 2. You can see here. It all depends on which formula I take, whether it's t or x. Now this one, we can easily see this is k, it's 2. You don't need to do the method. You can directly tell y is equal to a e to the power 2x. But we have initial condition not at 0, at 1. So it changes. So now substitute this. When the initial condition is not 0, you need to remember this must be y of 1, that will be equal to a e to the power 2 times 1 here. So what is y of 1? That's given as 2 is equal to a e to the power 2. Let's take e to the power 2 to the other side. It's going to be 2 by e to the power square, that is a, or you can write it as 2 e to the power minus 2. This is the a value. So now we will substitute back in the formula. Y is equal to 2 times e to the power negative 2 e to the power minus 2. Sorry, it's plus 2x. I think so you can simplify this further. Why? Because the bases are same, right? So it's going to be e minus 2 plus 2x. Just add the powers up, and that will be the answer. You can even simplify further by taking the 2 outside. It will be x minus 1. This is enough. I don't know, you should see the options. Let's see. Okay, they have left it just like this, guys. We did all these steps not required. So you should always look into the options and then see which is the where you can stop. For example, they have just left it out over here. So they have written y is equal to a is 2 by e to the power 2 e 2x. Generally, we don't write in fractions. We don't write down. We bring it up. So that's why I brought it up and solved. Over here, they have left it like this. So you can see this is the answer. Now here as well, they have given y of 1. So what you need to do is, now what is the k value? It's minus 1. Y is equal to ae. K is minus 1 x. But y of 1 is given equal to, not y of 0. If y of 0 was there, directly a value, write that. But now we need to substitute and find. So here 2 will be equal to a to the power e minus 1 times 1. So that is equal to a e to the power minus 1. That's 2. Let's take it to the other side. It will be 2 e to the power minus 1 equals a. But what happens e to the power minus 1 in the numerator? Bring it up. It's going to be positive 1. Or that's just 2e. That's it. Now we can write the final answer. Y is equal to 2e times e minus 1x. Now let me look into the answer, how they have written. If they have simplified, I'll also simplify. Yes, they have simplified this. So what I'll do is I'll just simplify here. So here y is equal to 2. This is e to the power 1, right, if there's nothing. So it'll be 1 plus minus 1x. That'll be 1 minus 1x. So here you have 1 minus 1x. Basically, you can just write it as x. So it'll be 2 e to the power 1 minus x. That is y. So that is the correct answer. You can see here. Now they have just written minus x, but it's absolutely fine. They have written minus x plus 1 or 1 minus x. Both are same. You write 1 minus x or x minus x plus 1. It's literally the same. I'm just positioning x first and then the constant term. So all this, you should just look into the option and figure out the correct one. Now this one here, again, we will have to use the integrating factor. So what happens? We had done similar one in the multiple choices at the beginning. So let's solve this one up. I'll write y dash, this y goes to the other side, minus y is equal to negative 50. Now what is the integrating factor? Integrating factor is e to the power, what is the slope? Minus 1. Integrate this dx. So e to the power minus x plus c. Sorry, for the integrating factor, you don't add plus, you add it later on. So now this is the integrating factor. Directly remember the formula, it's integration of whatever the slope you get. Not from the original function, after you group the y terms together. Whatever is the slope behind this, you write it out over here. So next, what do we do? Here, let's multiply the integrating factor throughout this above equation. So it's going to be e to the power minus x y dash minus e to the power minus x y equals minus 50. Now we know this is the product rule of what? D by dx of, it'll be e to the power minus x and y, or y I'll write first, y e to the power minus x. That is equal to minus 50. Now let me take this, don't forget to multiply here as well. Yeah. Now dx goes to the other side, so we can integrate both the sides. When you integrate this, you're just remaining with so much. And what happens here? Here, the constant term, leave it, minus 50 as it is. But what is the integration of e to the power minus x? E to the power minus x times minus 1, or you can write minus. Now minus minus becomes plus, y e to the power minus x is equal to plus, I'm not going to write plus, I'll just write 50 e to the power minus x. Now we can just cancel these two e to the power x's off, right? By the way, when I integrated it over here, it should be plus c. So how do you cancel this e to the power minus x minus x? Just divide throughout by e to the power minus x. So here it'll be e to the power minus x, e to the power minus x. Over here also e to the power minus x. So you're remaining with y is equal to 50. This is gone, gone. This goes up, it will be c times e to the power positive x. So this is the function. But now we have been given initial conditions, right? So I'll just solve it out over here. Y of 0 is equal to 50 plus c e to the power 0. See? Just over here, instead of x, I put 0. That is y when it's initially at 0. So y of 0 is 70 given to us. 50 plus c. So take this 50 to the other side, it will be 70 minus 50 is equal to c. That's 20 equals c. So in this given formula which we solved, y equals 50 plus 20 e to the power x. This is the final answer. Hope this is clear. So you can see here 20 e to the power t, that's written first, that's absolutely fine, plus 50. We can write any of these terms first or second, but as long as these terms are correct, that's more important. Plus 50. So this is the correct answer, and you should just look for that in the options. Now, depends, oh yeah, it's t or x. I generally do it with x. I don't write t. It naturally comes as x for me, d by dx. Whenever I solve differential equations, I just use it as x. But it's fine, you can use t as well. And this one we had solved at the beginning. I think this is a wrong solution set. What we had got at the beginning, You can just go back in the video and watch it. It was done in detail. Please refer to that. It was 180 and 100, not this. This is error. Solve it using integrating factor and you can get the answer. In this question, we will differentiate between separable and non-separable differential equations. Here they have asked whether this equation y prime equals 2x of cos y minus 1 is separable or not. Let me just give a little bit a brief of what are separable and non-separable. If at all, you can write this particular thing dy by dx and imagine you have some equation, say y. If you can y times x, okay? If you can separate them, all the y terms together and x terms together, that is dy by y is equal to dx and x, isn't it? We can integrate this easily, both the sides. This is called separable equation. You can group all the y terms at one side and x terms at one side. Now here you don't need to simplify so much. You can leave this as it is because this entire term is y dash, so it's fine. But if you can differentiate y dash by y equals x, now x is alone and y is alone, then this is separable. Now don't think, okay, if I have y and y squared, now this is not separable because over here you can't differentiate, like I mean, you can't do d by dx because then both the terms are multiplied and it'll be a complicated one. In the denominator, if you have y plus 1, it's okay, but if you have two y's, like say cos y, then it's not separable. We'll see about this as we go across the problems. Generally, it's easy to recognize from this itself. Now look here, y prime divided by cosine y minus 1. All the y terms over here and the constants, that's fine. And 2x, yes, this is separable. So the answer is D here. And what about this one here? Now this one, you can write y prime is equal to, you can take the x terms common out. If you take the x terms, you are remaining with 2 cosine y minus y cubed. But this is not separable. If you take over here, there are two y's in the denominator of y prime. No. Though x, but the y's over here, you can't exactly integrate both the sides, you know, because d by dx, dy by dx, then you have 1 by 2. This is not possible to be integrated, right? Divided by. So that's the reason. If you can integrate it, yes, but this is not separable. And now looking at this, you can easily tell this is separable. Why? Because you can take cosine y to the other side and then, yes, you can separate it. Why? Because cosine y, you can take it up, it'll be secant y, and you can solve it up. But as long as you can just, you know, group them up, y's together and x together, that's fine. Even over here, and now look at this one. Even if you take this to the other side, y prime by cosine y, you have 3x plus y. Now you take it to the other side, it'll be minus y. It's not possible. Minus y, it'll just be more complicated. It's not possible to directly integrate this. So it's not differentiable. It's not separable. And here, if you see, yes, this is also separable. We did this just now. And this one is not. Why? Because this is very hard to separate it directly. It's not possible. Right? Because there's y minus x. You take it over there. No, you need to separate it easily, like how we have it over here. And what about this one? We did this just a while ago. No, we did not do this. Sorry, it's different one. I just realized it now. See here, what you can do is you can take the y terms outside and then take it to the other side. And these remain over here. Yes, this is separable, right? Because y easily can be removed common out and then taken to the other side. Then y prime divided by y and only x are over here. It's not in the denominator, it's easy to integrate. What about this one? You can't take... no, we did this one just a while. No, not even this. No, you can't, because even if you take common term out, there will be xy term. It's not separable at all because there will be x and y together. This over here, we just did it at the beginning. It's not separable. And this one over here, yeah, this is separable. Why? Because, you know, you can just take this one to the other side, y prime minus 1 and x's are over here. You can differentiate this. In this question, we will write the general solutions of the separable differential equations.
Here they have asked to write the general solution and also graph. But the most important thing is write the general equation. Now you can see this is a differential equation. Why? Because the derivative and the given function is there. The function and its derivative is available over here, right? So they're called differential functions. Now how do we solve them? Over here, y prime is equal to 1 by y. So we can write y prime as dy by dx, that is equal to 1 by y, and this y can be written, all the y's together, it'll be y times dy is equal to this dx to the other side, 1 dx. Now we can integrate both the sides, and then we will get y squared by 2, and that is equal to x plus c. What happened? We just integrated both the sides. We split this out. Right side with respect to x, left side is with respect to y. Now what is our goal after this? We have to write y, that's it. So take this 2 to the other side. It will be y squared is equal to 2 times x plus c, and we can multiply this 2 inside, 2x plus 2c. The reason I'm doing is looking at the options. I can leave it like that, but look at the option which is the more corresponding answer. Here you can see 2x 2c, so that's why. That is equal to y squared. This is not the answer, not b. Why? Because we have to take the square root on both the sides. It will be square root 2x plus 2c. This is the correct answer. So it's the option number C. That's it. Let's look into this one here. Again, the same thing. Y prime is dy by dx, that is equal to minus x and y. Take y, group the y's and x's separately. Now see, it's separable. Why? Because you can easily group y's together and the x's together, dx. Now we can integrate. This is basically 1 by y dy. Integrate both of them. So it'll be natural logarithm, it's ln y, that is equal to minus, let us write it outside, but integration of x is x squared by 2 plus c. And then how do you simplify this? Taking how to remove this ln, we need only y, isn't it? We have to take exponential on both the sides. When you take e ln, this cancels off, isn't it? And only y will remain. Now exponential over here, that means it will be minus x squared by 2. We're taking exponential, go to the power, right? So remember, this also goes up. It should be the power, basically. I've written, okay, this is it. But then this cancels and this will come down, and plus c here. Now what next? It'll be y, and exponential is only in the positive quadrant, so we can just ignore that modulus. It'll be positive values itself. And over here now, minus x squared by 2 multiplied by e to the power c. What did I do? See, if it is e to the power a and you have another term e to the power b, can I write them e a plus b? Yes, that's the rule. The exponents add up. Over here, it's already added. Can I split them up? Yes, it'll be a multiplied by eb. The same way, I can see plus c was added to this, so I split the exponent. Now, this e to the power c can be assumed as a constant a. So it'll be a e to the power minus x squared by 2. So that will be the answer. You can see here, that's option A over here. So that's how we solve this one. None of the others are correct. And we will solve this problem as well. Again, we just did this problem, so it's the same one. Okay, now the graphs. You can easily check the graph by putting in some value. See, this is the equation, right? Y is equal to ae minus x squared by 2. So what you do is just substitute some value. Say a is equal to 1. Now you have to assume a constant value and then x value. Say x value at 0 if a is 1. You can just use your calculator. I'll show you. So I will write this e to the power minus x squared is x over here squared by 2. And then I'll write multiplied by a, can be 1, 2, 3, it varies, right? So let me write 1 and calculate this for 0. Why? Because x, let's start from 0. X is 0. How much is it? 1. Let me calculate for 2, for example. Calculate it at 2. You must get 0.135. Yes, that's the thing. That's how we can easily check which is the correct graph. Or you can just graph this by table also, you know. You can just make a table. You'll get one graph, second graph, and so on. Now, if you change this, say to 3, now calculate it at, say, 1. What is the value at 1?
Is it 1.81? Yes, it's somewhere 1.81. If you calculate it at 0, it's 3, and so on. If you calculate it at -1, what happens? Now here, if it's -1, yeah, it's again the same thing, right? 1.81, yeah. It's symmetrical both the sides. So you can see at -1, go up. What's the value? It's around 1.81. So this is how you can easily check the graph. The most important thing is solving this to get the equation. Let me solve this one as well. Here, I'll write y prime as dy by dx directly and minus x by y. So let me take y to the other side, dy, that is equal to minus x. We did this at the beginning. So we integrated over here. We had solved this, the same one. Sorry, you can just go back in the video and watch it up. Oh no, we did not do this. We did a similar problem like this. Anyways, I'll solve this one. Now what happens? You can integrate both the sides. When you integrate both the sides, it'll be y squared by 2, that is equal to minus will remain x squared by 2 plus c. Now then, this we can multiply throughout by 2. Why? Because this is 2, this is 2, there is nothing over here, right? Multiply throughout by 2, it'll cancel, it'll be 2c. So it'll be y squared is equal to minus x squared plus 2c. Now take the square root on both the sides. It'll be y is equal to square root of minus x squared plus 2c. That is the correct answer. So here you can see. And then the graphs over here vary. The family of graphs, they'll just keep on increasing. Now this one, we did this one. Yes, we did this one. The answer was 2x plus 2c. Yes, this was the first equation. You can see here the graphs. And what about this one? Here as well. Now here, look at this. 1 plus y squared. This is a single term. You can't just take y to the other side. Okay, it'll be more complicated. If you take y, then divide both the sides by y, it just gets more and more complicated. So it's dy by dx, that's y prime, and 1 plus y squared. So what I'll do is I'll swap these positions. Let me take this completely to the other side. It'll be 1 divided by 1 plus y squared, that is dy, is equal to dx. Nothing means it's 1 only. So this is gone, 1 will remain because we are taking it to the other side, basically dividing or multiplying. If it was minus, then it would be 0. So here this is practically 1. Nothing means 1. Integrate both. What is this rule? It is tan inverse, isn't it? 1 by 1 plus x squared dx is tan inverse. So that's tan inverse y. Instead of x, we have y equals, over here there's nothing, so we have to write, if there's nothing, dx integration of nothing, or nothing means it's 1 over here, right? So it'll be x plus c. And now take tan on both the sides. If you take tan over here, tan of tan inverse y, that basically cancels off, is equal to tan of x plus c. So why did we do this? This cancelled off. Y is equal to tangent of x plus c. That is the final answer. So here you can see tan of x plus c. And you will get tan graphs. You know, tan graphs are like this. So at different c values. And that is the end of all the electronic part questions. I hope you have found these videos helpful. And if you can do a huge favor to me, that is by sharing these videos with your friends who also can benefit from it. All the advanced grade videos, EoTs, and lesson explanations are available. Please do share it for those who can benefit. And also, if you could subscribe to my channel or like these videos, it would mean a lot to me. Thank you very much for watching my videos. I wish you all the best for the exam.